Hey, Machine Head. First and early. Yup, representing. Oh, my freaking eyeball, though. What the hell? Why am I in the corner? Why is this thing always fucking acting up? Oh, shit. What in the world? Why is this like this? This is so weird. Maybe like this? Would it be better like this? This is weird. Ah! What happened to my thing? Why is this acting like this? Hi, Keek. Beautiful as always. Aw, you're sweet. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Oh, shoot. Yeah, I don't know why this thing is weird. I basically need to be like over here for today. My camera's being stupid. Okay, there we go. That's a lot better. Hi, Abraham. My kitty. Why is my kitty all the way weird? Now my kitty's being dumb. Oh no. Oh no. Here, we can be like this. That's okay. Though I don't like how like zoomed in you guys are in my face though. That make me feel weird. That make me feel weird. Here, but my kitty can be on top of my head today. My kitty can be on top of my head. It's gonna be on top of my head now, my kitty. My kitty. Kitty. But hello everyone. How are you doing? I hope you're having a fantastical day. We're going to be watching a lot of different shit today actually. I heard, I don't know if this will cover it, but I've heard that P. Diddy's daughters went into the court and into his trial, and they couldn't stomach half of the shit that they were hearing, so they walked out. And I saw someone comment, like this was on a TikTok video, and I saw someone comment, well, they're grown ass adults. If they're gonna support their dad, they might as well know everything that he did. Clock that T, cause fucking period, bitch. Fucking period. But I was like, damn, now that comment was cold and so good. So I don't know if this video is going to cover that. I hope it does, but this is the first witnesses take the stand. Oh my god, just imagine how crazy it would be to listen to P. Diddy's trial. Like that would just be insane. All the crazy ass shit that you will hear in this trial. Oh, crazy. Hi Carmen. Hello. But yeah, oh my gosh, I'm so ready. I am so excited. I'm just gonna hold on. Free Diddy Chucker. You are wild for that one. There's a quite a bit. Rotten Mango W. We're not listening to Rotten Mango today. We're listening to ABC News today. Because Rotten Mango, she goes in to like P.Diddy's thing as well, right? But she's doing like, oh my god, I don't even know how many like videos she's doing. She's doing a lot though. Okay, Rotten Mango. P. Diddy's case on Rotten Mango, she's doing a lot of them. And she said that she was doing day by day, so I don't know. We're gonna see. I mean, we're not doing Rotten Mango today. We're doing ABC News. Then we're doing the disrespect. We're gonna get an update on Johnny Somali. Oh man, the title of his video as well, of Otzi's video covering Johnny Somali, disrespectful IRL streamer, now facing 31 years in Korean prison. It used to be he might stay in prison for 10 years. Now his prison sentence has increased to 31 years. So, Johnny, you are so fucking cooked. You're cooked, my boy. You're so cooked. Oh, Lord. But anyway, I want to cover P. Diddy. And then after that, we might watch this video right here, which is called Mom Realizes Police Discovered Her Horrifying Secret. I feel horrible. I don't want it to be a military mom. No, not the military. Not military mommy. But damn, I mean, horrible walks of life. Horrible walks of life. Damn, trompitas, you're looking beautiful, mamas. Really? You think so? All I'm wearing is like a little bit of foundation, blush, eyelashes, lip stain, and sort of not really did my eyebrows. I thought that wasn't a lot, but it sounded like a lot. The personification of unblockable ad. Even if English isn't their first language, them saying, "Why are you being so rude?" is a pretty big cute clue that they understand exactly what she's saying. So these guys just refused rejection. They're getting rejected. I don't know what the fuck they're doing, but they're just like refusing rejection. I kind of want to watch this one first.
Free of charge here, no course purchase required, about recognizing and accepting rejection.
The girls only table. Yeah, I'm respectfully asking you to go to another table. There are plenty of tables, like there's that one over there that you guys can go to. Because I'm not, go, begging.
Now I'll go ahead and break this down here like John Madden going over a play. These are subtle signs that she's not entirely interested in you and doesn't want you to continue to...
Subtle signs? What do you fucking mean, subtle signs? Go away. Over there. Sit over there. So subtle. So subtle. No. So subtle.
Pursue her. So this video's popped off of people shooting spitballs at the two dudes here and everyone giggling about it. Matt sent it to me this morning. It's pretty fascinating. So what happened here is apparently they sat down at this table to try and woo and win the hearts of these two women here. And they weren't really having it. They didn't want that. So they are both telling them to please leave. Literally in no uncertain terms, just saying go. But the two goobers still just sit there like a fucking half-smiling emoji the whole time. Like they are actual video game characters, but they forgot to program other facial animations. It is so interesting.
On my knees, go. It's just like our table. It's just weird for you to just sit down with us. Like, go. There's no people right there. You see that? Guys, there's no one over there. You should go sit there. I think you should go sit there. Look, it's crying. It has no people at its table. You guys need to go over there. That's good. We are both in relationships, and I'd love if you'd leave.
I love how the main stooge of this dynamic duo of desperation just continues to ask why she's being so rude.
Oh my god, why are you so rude? Bye! No! Bye! Why are you so rude? They just said they have boyfriends. They're not interested in entertaining.
Instead of just leaving. Like, it's not
Yeah.
like this is a very tricky situation to understand here. Like, it's not like she's speaking in riddles. She is just outright saying many times, go, please leave, go to that table over there, get the fuck out of here, dweebs.
Yeah.
Like, Jiminy Christmas, it sounds like she's talking to a dog about going outside to go to the bathroom. But at least
Holy crap. No, it actually does. It sounds like they're talking to a dog. Social awareness has left the chat. No, I don't think it's even that. I think it's just men literally refusing to have their pride hurt, I guess. I don't fucking know. They literally just don't want to accept a no. This is kind of weird. I don't know.
dog understands that. Like, these guys are just sitting there as if they have some chance to salvage this. I don't know what's running through this main guy's head where it's like, okay, there's still hope here. We can still get some pussy out of this. I believe in it. Like, no, this is beyond kaput here. Like, what the fuck? It's absurd. Now, I understand it's entirely possible that English isn't their first language, but here's the thing. Anger is universal. Even if you don't
Yeah.
speak a fucking tiddlywink of the language, you can still recognize when someone is yelling at you. Like, if someone is pointing and getting loud and animated, you can make a really good guess that they're
Yeah.
probably telling you to scram. These aren't mixed signals or anything, hard to decipher. It's not some kind of grand mystery to solve. They are clearly not interested, and there is really nothing you can do besides continue to make a fool of yourself here. That is.
I'm surprised they didn't call the cops. Like if I had unwanted guests at my table and I clearly feel very uncomfortable, I myself will get up and leave, and if they follow, I will go straight to a cop, cuz this could be a very dangerous fucking situation. Petty ass men who are literally rejecting your consent, are literally saying, I don't give a crap whether you're saying no to me, it's what I want, are fucking dangerous. Like, these men are dangerous.
Is the only outcome.
Go! Do you want me to spill your Guinness on you? Because I will. Go! 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 Go away! I'm asking you to fucking leave. Go! 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 I guess we'll go then. You want our table? We'll fucking go. Go! Go! Leave! I'm asking you to fucking leave. Go! Get away! Witch! Witch!
What the fuck? Why are they yelling witch? I mean, at that point, you saw they were getting up. Leave. Like, you should leave, girl. Get out of there. Not because, oh, men win. No, bitch, save yourself. These men are clearly dangerous. They're clearly just deranged.
Witch! Go!
I love how when they say, okay, we'll just leave, then you guys can take the table, you won, you planted your flag here, it's yours. And then as they're leaving, the guys start scooting with them like, go, don't go! Like, what? Trying to follow them around like a hemorrhoid here. How
Like
do
a
you not have
hemorrhoid.
any level of shame? What? Literally following them around like Pikmin. I really think he perceived this whole exchange here as playful banter and flirting as part of the romantic process here.
Which
as
is
part of
crazy.
the coitus protocol, which is just unhinged. It is so delusional.
Yeah.
She has literally screamed in a public restaurant about you leaving and shouted witch at you. Now, even if you've been completely poisoned by Hollywood romance films, you won't see that scene in there where the protagonist somehow turns that situation into a fucking marriage or something between the two of them. It doesn't happen. It's not going to happen. But he just keeps smiling about the whole thing as if he's, like, absent. Like, it literally looks like his brain is blue screen.
It looks like he's not understanding the rejection. Like, it looks... I don't know if he thinks that he's some type of, like, gift to God or some crap. Hey, Chris. Hey, Seabraw. But it literally looks like he's just not understanding the fact that he just got rejected. Very dangerous. Always keep that pepper spray on you. Oh, at this point, I'm gonna get a fucking taser, man, because this is crazy.
And he still just sits there taking all of it
Hi,
as like a
Leo.
good thing, like laughing and following them. How are you not humiliated? I'm also going to make a bold prediction here that after all of this, these two dudes walked away thinking that those two girls were the problem. Like, man, those crazy bitches, can you believe the way they yelled at us? What's up with that? That's
Yeah.
ridiculous, huh? Like, it will never dawn on them that maybe their approach to this was just dog shit. Like, come on. Let's turn this into a teachable moment here, though I hope there's no one out there that actually needs a lesson in how dumb this is. When you try and invite yourself into someone else's company and they're not receptive to it, like they're asking you not to, you're never going to win that battle of wills where you're forcing your presence upon them and you're going to make it a positive experience for anybody. It's not.
Take note. Take note. What would be the correct way to approach women? Obviously, not like that. Like how these men just fucking reacted. Not like that. If you are sitting down, if you decide to sit down at a table and these girls are saying, we're not interested, you can go over there. Like, we have boyfriends. That is your cue to get up and leave. Don't just be like, good fit? Yeah. No. And usually, if you're at a restaurant, okay, if you're trying to pick up girls, go hang out at the bar. Go hang out at the bar. If she is by herself, okay, fine. You can like go up to her at a table and say, hey, but if she's like, I'm not interested, then you can respect that, you know? It's kind of, I don't think a man would, I don't know if a man can understand this, but if, let's say you were sitting at a table, right? And there's another man there, and he is interested in you, and you're like, hey man, I'm not gay, or I'm not like, you know, but they're not taking the hint, chances are you would be like, get the fuck out of here, man. You know, and I'm only saying that because honestly, if I would have used a woman, some men would have been like, oh, I would, no matter what, I would have accepted that. No.
Not a fucking car sale. Like this not taking no for an answer and just being annoyingly persistent like a little cockroach. No one likes that. Even outside of the context of trying to get your wiener wet here. People aren't obligated to give you the time of day and play nice when you try and force yourself upon them through this sense of entitlement where everyone owes you a conversation and a shot. No matter how hard you try and put that triangle into the square hole, it just doesn't fit. No one likes that. And especially in a case like this, just accept the no, accept the rejection, and move the fuck on. Anyway, just wanted to talk about this video a little bit. That's it. See ya.
And by the way, there's nothing wrong with accepting a rejection. Like, if you're gonna shoot your shot, you have to also be comfortable with getting rejected. If you don't want to get rejected, just don't shoot your shot. Alright, Johnny! It's Johnny Somali. What the fuck is this dude like on about now? Is it like
Things are now absolutely terrible for the disrespectful IRL streamer who's now stuck in South Korea because he just got hit with another deepfake charge, which adds an additional 10.5 years of potential prison time in South Korea, which means the grand total of prison time that he's currently facing is 31 years in a South Korean prison. And he just admitted all the attention he's currently getting isn't even worth it anymore.
In the long run, do you think that it is worth it?
At this point, no.
I mean, come on, congratulations.
at this point, no. Wow. It took this much for you to finally realize Johnny is another type of man. Jesus Christ. So if you guys are not up to date with this interesting specimen of a man. His name is Johnny Somali, and he went around terrorizing Korean citizens and just the Korean public, so much to the point that the Korean government is now suing Johnny Somali. And he is now facing it. At first it was 10 years. Now it's a grand total of 31 years. So now he's going to be in the Korean prison for 31 years. Or at least that's what the trial is. Hey, Akio. Who? Johnny Somali. This man right here. This man right here. He went around terrorizing a whole bunch of like Asian countries. First he went to Japan, then he went, I forgot where the fuck it was, Israel or some shit. That now he's trying his hand in Korea because in Japan all they did was just slap his hand, give him a fine, and just told him get the fuck out, and he was like, all right, bet.
Things are now absolutely terrible for the disrespectful IRL streamer who's now stuck in South Korea because he just got hit with another deepfake charge, which adds an additional 10.5 years of potential prison time in South Korea, which means the grand total of prison time that he's currently facing is 31 years in a South Korean prison. And he just admitted all the attention he's currently getting isn't even worth it anymore.
In the long run, do you think that it is worth it?
At this point, no.
I mean, come on. Congratulations, you played yourself. Overall, harassing strangers in public should never be incentivized in general, but massive skill issue because you simply picked the worst countries to do it. Maybe not the worst, but definitely terrible countries to be doing this streaming in. Because let's be real, if he was doing this in the US, most likely he would be out of bail and he would only get a slap on the wrist for any trials that he actually went to. And I guess for some reason this absolute moron still operates like he's in the US.
So he literally was like, I'm a US citizen, they can't lock me up. Babes, yes the fuck they can. Who cares if you're a US citizen in another country? If you're not held hostage, what the fuck can the US government do? Like, really? And what's so funny is the fact that he was in a little, like, I don't know, he was streaming with someone else, and they were like, is this worth it now, all the attention you're getting? And he was like, at this point, no. You became one of the most hated people. What do you mean? It should have been not worth it when your own dad said, I disown you. His own dad, by the way, disowned him. He was like, you're not my son anymore.
Good, can't complain. Currently recording this video in a business center in Weston and Boston because I'm currently traveling. But news happened, so here we are. But I mean, hey, I'm only stuck in a Weston business center temporarily. Johnny is stuck in South Korea for the foreseeable future. Because I mean, right after the trial I watched, he was playing it cool. He was like, oh, nothing's really gonna happen to me. Nothing ever happens. I'll be out in no time. A couple months later, he's lost a lawyer, he's still stuck there, and new charges are dropping pretty much monthly at this point. I don't know if he's going to get let off the hook as quickly as he thought. So it now seems like reality is really starting to set in with this guy, as his only friend and financial supporter is starting to get extremely fed up with him as he's getting more and more charges. But at this point, most people know the story. Absolute moron, goes to Japan, gets in a whole bunch of trouble there, ends up doing about 3 months of jail in Japan, absolutely does not learn his lesson, goes to Israel, gets detained a bunch, gets a bunch.
Look at this fucking photo. Oh, this bitch. Look at the cops. They literally are carrying him out of the fucking country because Israel is in a war. Like, look at his goofy ass face. Jesus Christ. He's something else, man. And to be fair, I know, like, jail in any country is not great. Shit, we just saw the Epcon jail, the worst prison in the world. And we also saw what prison looks like in the Philippines. In comparison to Japan, that ain't shit. Like, Japanese prisons they're not nearly half as bad, man. Not nearly half as bad. time and stop. I'm gonna fucking block you.
Bunch of threats, ends up doing something that gets him permanently banned on his only platform that he actually makes good money from, which is Kick, and then he ends up fleeing Israel while still permanently banned from Kick. What does he do? Absolutely still does not learn his lesson. He then goes to South Korea, rinse and repeat, does the same thing all over again. Now, facing 31 years in prison because clearly he has still not learned his lesson.
Go and ask anyone on my team. They'll all
He's so weird. And by the way, I found out by reading the comment section, apparently he got assigned a lawyer, a defense lawyer, who has never won a case in his entire law career. Oh, he's so cooked, bro. He's so cooked.
He feels bad for him whatsoever because he has not learned his lesson whatsoever. He's just been given way too many chances to, you know, pack things up and pivot the way he's making content. But instead, he just continues to double down. Even after admitting the attention is not worth it, he still wants the attention. And a lot of people have been asking me, hey, why isn't he currently arrested in South Korea? Well, South Korea apparently operates very differently, especially when it comes to foreigners. Apparently, they don't want to spend the taxpayers' money on taking care of Johnny. They want to put that burden to provide for himself on Johnny. So now, Johnny essentially is homeless, except for Hank. He is now a burden to Hank and Hank's family because I guess Hank thinks this is a good idea to continue to pay for him. Because Hank, for some reason, thinks that's the right thing to do, even though, as you'll see, it's destroying his life as well. Johnny is a sinking...
Yeah, so what's going on is that Hank, that Korean guy, he actually does live in Korea. And he can get fined as a Korean citizen. So he's been getting, like, charges after charges after charges after charges as well. Like, he's getting fined. So crazy. It's
shit, and he's dragging everyone he can down with him. Because Johnny is stuck in Korea for the foreseeable future. He cannot leave Korea until all his court cases are done, all his time is served, and all his fines are paid. Then he can finally leave. So until recently, he's had 5 charges that stuck and then 1 that got dismissed. 2 of them are misdemeanors. 2 of them are obstruction of business felonies, which hold a maximum of 5 years each in prison. Then you have 1 deepfake charge, which has a maximum of 10.5 years in prison. And just now, they added another deepfake charge, which adds another 10.5 years of potential prison time in South Korea. So he's now facing a maximum of 31 years in prison. And I guess after all this, he's slowly starting to realize that he's ruined his life.
I talked to my mom this week, and she was like, really just like, you need to stop drinking. Like, it's ruining your life. You're 24, you know what I mean? You don't need to be drinking.
He's only 24 and he's already caught so many fucking cases. Oh my god, dude. This is real, by the way. This is a real ass guy. This is a real ass guy ruining his life before it even started. Because 24, he's so young.
Drinking and doing this crazy. Because, you know what I mean? Like, alcohol is definitely the reason why I've done so many great. It's, do not back down, never give up. It's not backing down, never giving up. It's about just bettering yourself as a person. I think I'll truly be a better person if I didn't drink alcohol. I feel like it doesn't bring anything better. It doesn't bring anything positive to my life. You know what I mean? I can make good content without drinking alcohol, like, easily.
When Johnny is sober, he actually has some fairly reasonable takes. But that didn't really last for too long because, according to 15 Minutes of Shame, 1 single hour later, he was already drunk screaming.
Come party with us.
It's a party, so.
Okay, you like Diddy?
Yeah, I like Diddy.
You like this song?
Wait. Outside? I can hear.
Then come here and sit it for us.
Dude, you bought another one?
No, it's the same one we have.
No, sir.
Yes, it is.
You finished your last one.
No, I didn't.
Oh my god. He's like a little kid. What the fuck? That Hank guy, that, like, his friend is such a good fucking friend because he just seems annoying. Oh my god.
Dude.
I'm lying to you. It is annoying. Alright, come Hank. Don't. Can you dance with Diddy with me?
He looks so done.
Why are you like drinking so much, man?
Listen to Diddy with me, please.
Alright.
I mean, Hank here is just acting like a disappointed father, and this is Johnny's only lifeline in Korea. Why would he be actively trying to burn this bridge? I guess he just can't help himself. But the reason I say this is, in an interview, they actually admitted that Johnny has ran out of money, and Hank is his only lifeline, even though Johnny will still go on and on about saying, oh, I actually have money, and I'm not broke.
Lethal Mindset and these channels, they spread like fake narrative that like I'm penniless and things like this. It's not true, that I'm destitute and just stuff for me. I've been living an okay life here. You know what I mean? I stay with Hank, so I don't really have expenses for living.
But here's the reality of the situation.
I have sacrificed my finances. No, I've actually Johnny ran out of money because they refused Johnny to work. So I've been actually providing.
He's helped me a lot. He's helped me with not only like legal fees and stuff like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's helped me pay for a lawyer and stuff like that. And he's a great friend. Like honestly, I respect him for that. And when I get out of here, a lot of it I do owe it to Hank. He's a real man.
Yeah. So,
Oh shit, Hank. Hank, dude, this is not the ship that you should be on. Oh man. I mean, part of me is like, wow, that's a really good friend, because I don't know if I would fucking want to deal with someone like Johnny. But another part of me is like, why? Why, Hank? Why would you choose, out of everybody who could use a second chance or whatever, why is this the bridge that you decide to like stand on? I don't know. Crazy shit. I don't
so
know.
not to mention that I sacrificed my time and space here. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that all he says is he respects Hank for that? Dude, if it wasn't for Hank, from what we're hearing, he would be homeless. So I mean, the least he could be is a little more grateful to Hank, because apparently he was starving before Hank took him in.
And I actually fed him back to health too. He was very unhealthy.
Yeah, I'm very skinny. Hank claims when I was living on my own in Korea, I was very skinny and gaunt, you know. But I made my dad not good. Hank is definitely, people now on the internet are saying I like a gut man move now, because I mean, Hank has been feeding. I've been on a Hank diet, and Hank has been feeding me so well.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
Yeah, bro, thank you for not letting me starve. Bro fist for that one. But apparently things are so bad that Hank, he's being supported by his family. And his family is threatening to cut that off because he keeps on funneling that money back to Johnny.
I risk my family not paying my tuition to help Johnny, because I believe that helping Johnny is right thing to do.
Wait, Hank is going to school? What does he mean by tuition? Is he going to school? Oh my god, Hank. Hank. You have better friends than this, dude. You have better friends. What is...
Pretty much.
His mom hates you. Your mom hates you, right?
Yeah. My mom hates you, my grandma.
The way he answered that. Your mom hates me, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Parents hate you.
And you said, despite all that, he's my friend, and wrong is being done to him, I'm going to make sure that he gets out of Korea safely.
Yeah.
So the real
bro.
Why would you ever destroy your own life and ruin your standing with your own family over John? This is clearly someone who's only using him because he has no options left. But that is still not stopping Hank from allegedly pulling some strings to get Johnny a new attorney. But apparently this attorney isn't from the big leagues. He is an attorney. That's about it.
So he's got both a public defender that was originally covering his Western District case, and a private lawyer which was on the East, which is now registered in the West. So we're going to talk about this lawyer. So we actually predicted who this lawyer was. We had a leak. Ramsey gave a leak about who this lawyer was. We now know officially the lawyer is Choi Guang-ho. Or Guang-ho Choi. Choi is his family name. So that is the lawyer that has registered. He is a tax attorney. He has not been inside a criminal courtroom in 20 years.
They are not... Wow. Okay, so who... This is the new lawyer that Hank got Johnny? Hank got Johnny. Oh my god. Hank is done with you, bro. Because if this is the best lawyer you can get... They don't have public defenders over there? Like, you can't have a... You can't have, like, you can't have a lawyer via the public? Or is it just like, you know... You need your own lawyer type shit. You know what I mean? Oh, a tax attorney who hasn't seen court in 20 years is crazy. Hey, Paris.
Let me say that one more time. He has not been inside a criminal courtroom in 20 years. He is a tax attorney. So what probably happened, and this is something that we said, was this is probably a friend of Hanky Poo's family who got put on this case.
And apparently his entire legal strategy for the deepfake charge has been a complete flop.
His whole big legal talk, his whole big legal strategy was, we're going to settle with Bong Bong. We're going to settle with the female victim. We're going to pressure her. And they wanted to threaten her because she showed the image on her stream as well. But she showed it to show how mad she was about it, being like, this is wrong, right? So he tried to blackmail the victim. And not only did that fail, it literally backfired in his face. When he tried to blackmail the female victim, the prosecutor probably saw this and said, oh, hell no, we're going to double down and give you another one. And by the way, there will be no settlement on that one because it's with the Korean YouTubers that you are literally attacking and threatening with defamation. Remember, guys, Hank and Johnny have been threatening to sue the Korean YouTubers and myself, by the way, threatening to sue me with defamation in Korea. Do you think that people that you threatened to sue, and you are suing, you literally said you're suing them, you were threatening Dagun, you're threatening some people, do you think they're going to come to some settlement with you? By the way, that doesn't even really work in Korean court. Even if they were to say, oh yeah, we agree, they still, the prosecutor could still bring it.
Yeah. Oh my God, Hank, man. And here I thought you were a good guy. I mean, guess no the fuck you're not if you're hanging out and you're friends with Johnny. Threatening to sue and even blackmail Johnny's victim? Oh my God, that's fucking insane. What was he planning on doing that? Just getting the money? Like, hello, sir. She's not going to be afraid of you. She's not going to be afraid of you, Hank. She has everything on video. There's video of Johnny deep faking her. And what do you mean? Oh, I'm going to blackmail you with your own deepfake. She showed her fucking deepfake on her live stream. You think she's afraid? No, she showed that shit on her live stream. She can say she has consent. It's her fucking face. It's her content. She's allowed to show whatever it is that she wants to because it's her face. Oh my God, Hank, oh, buddy, you're a piece of shit.
The issue with Johnny is most of what he says is hot air. Unfortunately for him, the judge and prosecutor might not know that because he's made a bunch of threats and he's said a lot of stupid stuff. So it's safe to say this backfires tremendously on this guy. Because let's be real, all he had to do, after you got caught, even after making all the mistakes in Japan, all the mistakes in Israel, and I guess all the mistakes in Korea, once they charged him formally, all he had to do was shut up, apologize, be respectful, and he probably would have gotten left off with somewhat of a slap on the wrist. Instead, he does the polar opposite. He disrespects the judge, the prosecutor, the victims, the people covering it, and the Korean citizens. That's not going to give you any leniency with the judge. I mean, the dude is just playing the worst cards possible as a social experiment to see how the Korean justice system will handle that. But for every day that passes, it seems like the penalty is going to be harsher and harsher. Then to make things worse for himself, apparently, he lost a lawyer.
Just today, we had the public defender step down. Now, that is likely they were actually removed from the case. That means they weren't the ones who petitioned it. It was the court that did it, probably because he no longer qualifies for a public defender. When you have a private attorney, that typically disqualifies you from having a public defender. So it appears that he was disqualified from that.
So now, the case will be even more expensive for Johnny,
Oh my
or
God.
Hank, depending on who's footing the bill here. And then
That's insane. Doesn't Hank know this? Isn't he also supposed to be like a Korean citizen? Wouldn't he know this? Like, what? I mean, I guess at this point, Hank doesn't give a fuck because it's not really his money. It's his parents' money. He's some dude that has daddy money. Like he got daddy's money. So he's not feeling it, but you know.
Legal Mindset also issued a correction here saying the attorney has actually been to court 5 times in the last 20 years, or at least 5 times. But apparently he's lost all 5 of those cases. So Johnny has now hired a guy who's gone 0 for 5 over the last 20 years, and he's still acting up during his trial. I mean, by the way Johnny is acting, you would have thought, hey, he hired some big league attorney with this big boy crypto money he has. But the reality is different. And as I stated previously, he's now admitting that it's not worth it anymore. He's banned on Kick. That was the platform he could actually make decent money on. And they're most definitely not going to take him back. And we learned that from Ice Poseidon.
In the long run, do you think that is worth it?
At this point, no.
So now, Johnny is permanently banned on Kick. He's also permanently banned from Patreon, apparently, and Airbnb.
I'm permanently banned from Patreon. Permanently banned from Airbnb. I don't even know how. Somebody sent some kind of order later. They permanently banned Airbnb.
So it's hard for him to make a living streaming. It's harder for him to collect donations, and it's hard for him to live somewhat cheap. Because
How do you get... Okay, so he got... How do you... What? Airbnb? I mean, banned from Airbnb is crazy work. Banned from Kick is crazy work. Because do you not know how many degenerates are on Kick? Kick has... So, I will say there's one positive thing about Kick. Is that they don't take as much money from content creators or streamers. For example, let's just say on TikTok. Once you stream on TikTok, TikTok takes almost 50% of any income that you make. And Kick is somewhat similar, right? I mean, Twitch is somewhat similar in the ratios. However, Kick only takes away 5%. So I will give it that credence, and that credence, it's good. But Kick is a stream, like its reputation is like ass, bro. Like people who get banned off of Twitch, banned off of, because first you get, it's like a little ladder, man. It's like a little ladder. Once you get banned from TikTok, where do you go? You go on Twitch. Once you get banned from Twitch, where do you go? Kick, because that's the only other platform that you can actually stream on, and is very lenient. Like they're really, really lenient. So getting banned on Kick is crazy work. Like you had to go like above and beyond to really get banned on there. So
Airbnb is a good way to live cheap when you're long-term staying abroad. So his options here are Hank's Place or expensive hotels. That's tough. But that was a quick Johnny Somali update. I will return home soon, so I'm not recording the next video in the West End Business Center here in Boston. And I'll be back in my studio with my microphone that everyone says looks kind of sus. But hey, it's a whole lot better than the phone. But hopefully, the phone makes do for now. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe. YouTube thinks you'll enjoy this video, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.
W. But that's crazy. Oh, wow. Alright. So, time for the D-Piddy. The P.Diddy. Sorry, I said that backwards. P.Diddy. P.Diddy Combs Trial 1. Witnesses take the stand. It got uploaded literally yesterday, and it's already over 500,000 views, which is crazy. What do the comments say? It's hard to imagine your charges being so heinous that your defense is domestic violence. What the fuck? P. Diddy doesn't have a dark side. He is the dark side. Why not let it air publicly? This would be an awesome learning opportunity for future lawyers as an eye-opener for the public. I think they might still have access. Lock the pervert up for life? Hell yeah. I mean, to be fair, wasn't he just in jail for like 6 months? Like, he's been in jail for like 6 months now, and he looks like he's aged 15 years. Like, if you were to see a photo of him, he has white hair. He's like in his 50s. Why do you have white hair, bro? Like the amount of white hair that he has is crazy. Because before he went to jail, he was a little bit more chubbier. His hair was all black. You know what I mean? But now he looks a lot more skinnier and just like boom, white hair. So he's aged, man. He's aged. Jail has aged him.
I'm Eva Pilgrim. Thanks for streaming with us. The highly anticipated trial against Sean Diddy Combs is now underway. It was a whirlwind day. A jury was seated. Opening statements were delivered.
Who was the first
two
witness?
witnesses, a male escort and a former security guard, were called. More on their testimony in a moment. There are no cameras allowed in court, but our ABC News team was inside, watching, listening to it all. Prosecutors didn't hold back, laying out the government's case against one of the biggest names in entertainment. They say the public knew Sean Combs as Puff Daddy or Diddy, a businessman, larger than life. But prosecutors argued there was a darker side to him, saying he used his trusted inner circle to run a criminal enterprise for decades, painting a picture of a controlling, manipulative, and violent Combs who allegedly forced victims into days-long drug-fueled sexual encounters that prosecutors called freak-offs or wild king nights. The defense argued Combs is a complicated man, but said this is not a complicated case. His lawyer pointing to that disturbing video of Combs dragging and kicking then-girlfriend Cassie Ventura, admitting it shows domestic violence, but arguing it is not evidence of sex trafficking. Sitting behind Combs today, his mother and children, all seen arriving at court, supporting Combs as he faces 5 counts, including sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy. Combs faces a potential life sentence. He has denied all of these allegations. A jury of 8 men and 4 women will decide his fate. We'll break down what we know about each of them. There is a lot to get to after a jam-packed day in court. I want to get right to Chief Investigative Correspondent Aaron Kontursky, who was in court for this first official day of the trial. Aaron, opening statements began today. Break down these arguments for us.
They really set the tone for the entire case. You mentioned the kind of Jekyll and Hyde portrayal by prosecutors, someone that the world came to know as Puffy or Puff or Puff Daddy or Diddy or Love, somebody who was larger than life, who was a mogul in multiple.
I would not say larger than life. Look at this man. You think that's larger than life? You think this is the face of being larger than life? Sir, be so for real.
Industries, and yet who had a darker side. A lot of celebrities have an entourage around them, Eva, but Sean Combs, according to federal prosecutors in their opening statement, operated as a criminal enterprise with trusted insiders whose goal was to coerce women into these drug-fueled sex performances. Some of them, prosecutors said, lasted for days and were referred to by Combs as freak-offs or wild king nights. And the defense sought to downplay these episodes, calling them the consensual threesomes of a celebrity who led a swingers lifestyle. And though they conceded that Combs could be violent with women, even women that he loved and was in a relationship with, they said he's not charged with being violent. He's not charged with domestic violence, with assault even. They said he's charged with sex trafficking, and what's depicted on the video in the Los Angeles hotel from 2016, and in other episodes they say may show Combs being violent, but doesn't show him being a sex trafficker, and they say it wasn't part of any racketeering conspiracy as alleged.
Not being charged with DV or assault is such an L for the defense. I know, but that's such an L. Because he should have been. Like, that video alone, guilty. Guilty. And we already saw the other case where it was Mackenzie or Michaela or Kayla versus her like DV ex that James Charles was sleeping with. Like, bitch. She won that case. So the fact that Diddy isn't charged with DV or violence or assault or none of that, crazy work. That's an L. That is an L.
We saw Sean Combs' family going into court today. Did he interact with them at all?
He did, right from the start. He came into court, Eva, all smiles as his eyes immediately locked on to his family seated in the second row, his sons and daughters, his mom, all there to support him. He blew them kisses in court, made gestures across his heart. But once the opening statements began, Combs was much more dispassionate. At one point, as a man who says he was paid to have sex with Cassie Ventura while Sean Combs sat in the corner masturbating, Combs pushed his chair away from the defense table. His arms went down and he crossed his legs, listening impassively to all of this. At that point, when the male escort was testifying, his daughters left the room.
That's when they left the room, when they found out that his daddy, that the male escort was in the room. Oh, so that's why everybody, because I don't know if you guys have been seeing this on your For You page, but I have this on, I've been seeing this on my For You page. A lot of people are saying, because there are some people saying, oh, I feel so bad for their daughters, because their daughters, just imagine having a dad like Diddy. They were there. They saw. So they saw the video of Diddy beating on Cassie. They saw a video. Because look at this. Just a little reminder, babes. Just a little reminder. Right there, they showed this video of him attacking his girl. Oh, but they left the room when the male escort came onto the stand. They are an adults. They are adults. They can decide, and they have the right to know what their dad is like. So,
Combs sat in the corner masturbating. Combs pushed his chair away from the defense table. At that point, when the male escort was testifying, his daughters left the room.
The first witness, former Intercontinental Hotel security guard Israel Flores, testified about responding to that now infamous incident, speaking with Combs and his ex-girlfriend, a key witness in this case, Cassie Ventura. How did Flores describe that day?
He set the tone by immediately, as the first witness, taking jurors back to 2016. It was March 5th when Flores said he responded to a call from hotel staff of a woman in distress on the 6th floor. He goes up the elevator. He sees Sean Combs sitting in a chair with what he described as a devilish stare, and Cassie Ventura clearly shaken. And he walked the jury through hotel security footage. Some of it that the prosecutors played outright,
so
some of it that Flores had captured on his phone, and it shows the detail of what occurred. There is Cassie. She's in blue pants and a hoodie. She's not wearing any socks. She reaches into a bag at the elevator, and as she's putting on her socks, Combs comes barreling around the corner, knocks her down from behind, stomps on her, and the episode continues from there.
And Aaron, I have to ask you, we are seeing these sketches of Diddy in court. He looks very different than how many may remember him appearing. Tell us how he looks.
Well, he's certainly much grayer. We've seen him that way over his last few court appearances, but people who may be, tuning in and seeing him for the first time here at the onset of trial, he's not allowed to color his hair in jail while he's incarcerated, so he's gone gray, both his hair and his beard. He's thinner than we saw him, certainly, than when he was first arrested, much less bloated than he appeared at that September date, and he is right now impassive, as prosecutors have control, describing what they say he did.
Aaron Katursky for us there. Aaron, thank you so much.
Aaron's worthless.
I still think, that you shouldn't really have that much compassion for the daughters, because the daughters, they should know who their daddy is, The I Need a Girl by Usher was produced by Diddy. No! I did.
Deeper
Good
on
job,
who
Carlos.
is in this 12-person jury that could decide the fate of Sean Combs, as well as the legal teams involved in this high-profile case. Here to break it all down for us is ABC News legal contributor Brian Buckmeyer, who's worked as a defense attorney here in New York City. You've also closely been following this case. You were in the courtroom today. Let's talk about this jury. 8 men, 4 women. What do we know about them?
So yeah, we actually know a lot, and as you pointed out, 8 men, and these are some of them. We know some of their jobs: massage therapists, retired telephone linemen. But aside from gender and employment, the other thing I want to focus on is age. We have a number of individuals who are over the age of 50. And the reason why I want to point that out is 2 things. One, it's pretty understandable. This is going to be a case that's going to last for 8 weeks. You got to think about who can take that much time off. The other aspect of that as well is when you're talking about...
Damn, 68? That bitch is basically 70. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 70-year-olds? Oh, they ain't gonna give a crap. Were they even there? Like, during women's rights? Did they see women's rights be a thing? Oh my God. A scientist. Ooh, we got a scientist on there. Social worker, supervisor. Okay. Banking law. I don't know. 3, but like 1, 2, 3, 4 70-year-olds on the case. Damn.
Consent, we as defense attorneys seem to see a difference between young people and their understanding of consent and older people. So this may benefit the defense to some degree. Of course, we have the women here as well, 4 of them, and 1 age 74.
Why do you think these jurors were chosen?
74? God damn. Grandma, what are you doing? Grandma, go home. Grandma, what is Grandma doing on there? You got Grandma, Grandpa. What are you? Why is Grandma and Grandpa on the case? What the fuck?
So sometimes when it comes to choosing a jury, it's not just choosing who it is on the jury, it's eliminating those who don't want to be on the jury. For the defense, I think they believe that these are individuals that are not just going to be unbiased, but also maybe lean towards their favor. For the government, they believe that based on the answers that these individuals gave, they're going to be able to achieve that conviction. So either side thinks they see someone favorable in this group.
Let's talk about the legal teams here. Let's start with the defense team.
Yeah, so we have some big names that you may know. Mark Agnifilo, you might know him from the XM Defense, where he represents Keith Raniere. Tenny Garagos, the last name may be familiar there as well. Mark Garagos' daughter. Alexander Shapiro is one of the appellate attorneys. And then here are some names that you might not know, or you may. Brian Steele, a bit of a famous defense attorney in Georgia, made even more famous in his defense of Young Thug. And Xavier Donald.
Young Thug. I don't know if y'all remember this, but he said something like Young Thug stands for oh my God. He was going at it. He was like, this gang sign ain't a P, it's a P, it's a B for honesty or some shit. I was like, what the fuck? That's a ride or die type of attorney. If you want any type of attorney on your case, you would want Brian Steele, because Young Thug, Thug was like, what he spelled it out, T for trust, H for honesty, O or like, I don't know, but he was like going at it. He was like, no, he symbolizes like whatever. He's for the, he's promoting youth growth, personal development. Everyone's like, that, Brian, you are so cap. You are so cap.
A defense attorney who is very well known within the Southern District of New York here, as well as Manhattan, the Bronx, and Brooklyn. Anna, Jason, and Linda all rounding out the team as well and supporting the defense of Sean Combs.
Okay, now we have to talk about the prosecution. This is the Southern District of New York. I mean, they have a crazy high conviction rate. What can you tell us about this team?
So I know about the Southern District of New York, both as a contributor and as a defense attorney, yes. Conviction rate about 90-95%. So we have the interim U.S. Attorney, Jay Clayton. He's not actually at the defense table, obviously the prosecution table, but he...
95%? I am so sorry to stop this. That means they will win their cases. 95% means that they have a conviction rate of it going into their favor. So let's say there's like 100 cases. 95 of them, they won. Oh shit. I wish this was televised. This would literally be the court case of like, cause you got Brian still going hard for Young Thug, but then you got these people right here. That's crazy.
He is the head of the Southern District of New York, and then you have other prosecutors as well. But I want to skip down just real quick because you might recognize the name, Maureen Comey. She's actually one of the lead government prosecutors in this case, the daughter of James Comey. And this is an all-women's team here. I don't think that was an accident, but it seems very powerful when they're arguing the case, when there are so many female alleged victims in this case.
Damn.
Yeah, and let's talk about who we heard from today, a male escort, a former security guard. What does this tell you, if anything, about the prosecution's plan here?
Two things. One, they're laying the foundation for someone very important to testify. They want that video in, and they also want the individual who was allegedly forced to have sex with that male escort to be able to testify as to that event, that being Cassie. We believe, or I think it's probably easy to assume, that she'll be testifying, if not first thing tomorrow morning, then at some point in time tomorrow. Now, that could be, in essence, to kind of like a strong, powerful witness. This is, as the prosecutor says, victim number one, but it also could just be logistics, because we know that she is pregnant, very much so, and they might want to just let her get in, out, and get out as quickly as well.
Yeah, so you can't
Okay, that's
too late
interesting.
into your pregnancy, one of those things that we all know about. Today, Cassie Ventura's husband was actually seen leaving the courthouse. Tomorrow, we're expected to see her possibly taking the stand herself. That's pretty early in a case, right?
So it depends on the strategy. I can see why that would be perceived early. This is supposed to be the star witness. Why wouldn't you want to lay the groundwork for more evidence first before you have the major witness? But when it comes to convincing people, convincing a jury, oftentimes recency, meaning getting that information out there first, and frequency, how often you talk about it, is a great way to lock in that information to a jury. And of course, just timing. Life for her means that she has to start sooner rather than later.
Brian, Buckner, always helpful. Thank you so much.
To the ones who can.
Damn, that's crazy. That's wild. Also, Cassie's husband is going to be testifying in this court case. So not her, but her husband. And he's a star witness too. Ooh. Oh, shit.
Mentioned, the 12 New Yorkers selected for this jury will spend weeks in the courtroom hearing evidence from both sides. And joining me right now is Eric Rudish. He's not part of this trial, but he has spent decades researching juries with attorneys as a jury consultant. Now, we know, Eric, from court records that Diddy's team is using a jury consultant. When you work on a trial like this one, how much do you really know about these jurors?
Well, you try to find out as much as you can, certainly. So based on the 12 jurors, the information we have, in addition to gender and age, as a jury consultant, we're also looking at their occupation. So are they going to approach this case more from an emotional standpoint or an analytical standpoint? And based on the 12 jurors' occupations, there are several jurors that are good for the prosecution. There's a social worker, there's someone who works at a nonprofit, there's someone who works at a nursing home. But there are also more analytical jurors who are more likely to scrutinize the evidence, such as an investment analyst, a logistic analyst, and even a scientist.
Let's drill down into that a little.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. There's some people. So, as someone who works in the hearing people's sad stories day in and day out, because that's essentially my field, right? I'm not almost like a social worker, but I do listen to people talk about some sad ass things. You get desensitized real fast, so I don't know. There's some people on there who I'm like, how are you not a sociopath, so, like, or a psychopath? Because they can really, it's not because like, oh, they ain't got no emotion. No, it's because they don't let whatever they hear really hit them, So I feel that it is also very, very likely that some of these people who you would think are, very high in the empath scale could really like sympathize with the victims, also could be very desensitized and not really feel that strong of an empathy. Like, there could be a disconnect there, is what I was trying to get at.
A little bit more, since we were talking about their jobs and the jobs that they have, how do attorneys use that information as they make their arguments to play to these ideas that they have about these jurors?
So it's a very emotionally charged case, and the prosecution is certainly going to use that, emotional element to, help, prosecute their case. For the defense, they want jurors to separate the emotional aspect of the case, and you saw it from up front. The one theme is that whatever Sean Combs' actions were, it's separate from the, charges that are being brought forth against him. So you want someone who could separate the emotional aspect about this case from the from the evidence, or how they will approach the charges and whether or not they feel that John Coates is ultimately guilty.
Eric Reuters, thank you so much for joining us
Okay, good.
today.
Stan.
Well, still ahead, the defense and prosecution gave an overview of their cases today. What does that reveal about possible strategies, and how might they play with the jury? We break down the arguments next. Back now to the case against Sean Combs. ABC News legal contributor Brian Buckmeyer is back with us. Also joining us, attorney and legal analyst Ebony K. Williams. Brian, let's start with you because you were in court today. What did you think of the prosecution's opening statements? Do you think it was compelling for a jury?
Oh, very compelling. I think it was good in the sense it was just under an hour, so I don't think people really drifted away. They were able to stay focused, start off with some good themes and also some good examples, talking about a night in which Sean Combs heard allegedly that Cassie was with another man, got an employee up at the middle of the night at gunpoint, and a security guard rushed his person's house, broke in, and laid out how these intricate examples of Sean Combs flying off the handle, as they seemingly described, were parts of this racketeering conspiracy, that he had this inner circle that helped facilitate not only every want and need that he wanted, including his freak-offs, but also how he used them to control individuals around him, marching through each and every one of the elements in this case. It was easy to follow and very compelling.
Ebony, what do you think of the defense's strategy?
Yeah, I think the defense did a lot of the things that they needed to do by way of conceding some obvious points, right? You can't tell this newly sat jury of 12 that you didn't see what you saw on that tape, that horrific, traumatic, violent tape of Sean Combs violently attacking Cassie Ventura. So I think the defense was smart to say, hey, if we were here for domestic violence, we wouldn't be here. He absolutely committed that act. He did some horrible things. He might even be perceived by many of you as a bad person, but it's not against the law to be a bad person. My client is not being charged with domestic violence in this particular matter. Thus, this is a not guilty verdict. That's their argument.
But do you think it's problematic that they admitted, basically, that...
No, I think they had to, Eva. I think it's...
What they're talking about is that, yes, he basically admitted to being a DV. Racketeering is a set of illegal activities aimed at commercial profit that may be distinguished as a legitimate business deal.
See, preserving credibility is going to be so key for both the prosecution and defense, right? So they had to try to earn some level of truth-telling points, if you will, with this jury, and I think they were able to do that by admitting the very, very obvious things we know so far.
Okay, so Brian, as a defense attorney, obviously they're going to be trying to poke holes in the prosecution's case. Do you think they're going to lean into that?
I think that's the case. As Ebony laid out, you have to admit to some degree to garner credibility. You can't go and look at that video and be like, well, that's AI. That's not really our client doing that. And I think there's a strength in saying he is guilty of some things, but he's not guilty of anything. And I think Tenny Garagos, the defense attorney who did the opening statement, a very well-reasoned, well-argued opening statement, said it's not about whether or not he's a bad person, it's whether or not the government or the prosecution has proven their case. And these are the allegations, these are the charges, these are the elements, and juxtaposing and saying this is domestic violence, this isn't coercion, going to the heart of what sex trafficking and racketeering is, saying it's not this, it's this is what he's charged with, not this, not guilty. I think it was the only argument that could be made.
Okay, the name of the show is called Burden of Proof, Ebony. So what is the burden here?
Yeah, it's a clear and very, very difficult one, actually, if you're the prosecution. They have to prove beyond any reasonable doubt, keyword there is reasonable doubt, that Sean Combs is guilty of everything Brian laid out, from the racketeering, the coercion, the sex trafficking, and all of it. And, you know, they're going to have a lot of elements to meet. And again, the more the defense can convince that this is one private citizen's sexual proclivities that may be out of bounds to us, you and I, common man and woman, but this is within his legal right and it's not against the law to have these sexual preferences. The more they can make that, the prosecution is further and further from their burden of proof. But if, as also Brian said, the prosecution can successfully land the plane of connecting dots, right, between sexual assaultive behavior, physically abusive behavior, and individuals, that's going to be key, right, other individuals working in connection and in collaboration with Sean Combs to execute that under coercive measures, that is how you get to guilty.
Ebony K. Williams, Brian Buckmeyer, thank you both so much. Coming up, a music mogul on trial, the cultural impact and public perception as Diddy's trial begins and his former girlfriend prepares to take the stand.
Oh, Cassie will for real take the stand? I thought it was just going to be her husband. No, she's going to actually, like, be there? Oh, crazy. Oh my God. Damn, I'm ready to see Cassie up on there, dude.
What's up, America?
Cassie and her husband are gonna be up there, but if her husband, how does that work? I thought if you are a witness, you're not allowed to see nothing that's on the news. How did you show up on there? You know, like you. I'm just stupid.
It's no surprise there's extreme public interest around the world in the Diddy trial as testimony gets underway. So what are people saying? For that, we turn to Kelly Carter, who covers entertainment and pop culture for us. Kelly, we heard it from prosecutors how Combs created this empire and that the public saw him as a larger-than-life cultural icon. Yet prosecutors say there was this other side to him. He's pleaded not guilty to all the charges. The interest is crazy, though. We've got to talk about the lines outside the federal courthouse this morning. Our Aaron Katursky said it was more than a block long. One guy was in the front of the line trying to scalp his seat for $350. Have you ever heard of such a thing?
I have never heard of such a thing as someone trying to scalp a ticket to go inside of a courtroom. I have seen, we all have seen fandom, you know, line up with signs in support of people. I remember covering that 2009 Chris Brown assault case out here in Los Angeles, and I was met with just hundreds of fans who were outside with those fans in support, with signs in support of Chris Brown, but never someone waiting in line trying to pawn off a ticket as if this is Star Wars. You know, this is something we've never seen before.
Girl. I don't know. I might pay that money to go see, because that's crazy.
I'm curious, too, when it comes to Diddy's public image, does the verdict in this trial really matter, or is the damage to his reputation already done?
I think the damage is significant, and quite frankly, I think that the court of public opinion is ultimately going to weigh so heavily, you know, if he is found not guilty of these charges. I don't think that we should all imagine a world where he goes back to business as usual, because I think we know too much, and that's kind of the sentiment, I think, of a lot of people who've been paying attention to today's testimony and who read anything going into today's testimony. We know too much, and people are going to have very strong feelings about the things that they've discovered about him.
Kelly Carter, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us for this episode of Burden of Proof, the case against Diddy. We'll be back with new episodes every day of the trial, bringing you the latest from the courtroom, plus live analysis from experts and contributors. The show streams right here on ABC News Live, Disney Plus, and Hulu at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. I'm Eva Pilgrim. Have a good night.
Thanks, Anita. Thanks, Miss Pilgrim. That was very nice. I like it very much. I didn't know people were fucking auctioning seats to go see the trial. I mean, shoot, I don't know. If I had forget you money, I would probably, buy that ticket. $350. Honestly, that's real cheap. That's really cheap to go see his trial and be there in person to see his trial. 300 for what? So there was somebody in front of the line, right? And they had like this ticket. You get like a ticket to be able to go into the courthouse, because even though his court case is not being recorded, you can still go in to see it. It's open for the public as long as you are one of the very few to go in. One of the first very few. This man, he said, I got a ticket. All right, $350. $350. Who wants to go see it? Who bought it? Did somebody buy it? All right, $350 going once, $350 going twice. $375. $375 for the lady in the back. $375 going once, going twice. $380. We got a $380. Remember, just imagine that motherfucker was auctioning, bidding. Ah, that's funny. All right, now we're gonna watch this case. I had this video open since yesterday, because this has to be one of the most horrible moms I had ever heard of. Miss Brianna Williams. I had a thing, not a thing, but I had a problem with a girl named Brianna as well. And this video, goddamn, look at how many views it has. 22 million views last year. Jesus Christ. What did she do? What did she do?
You need to go to another. Want me to take it? You want to take it?
What the fuck?
The footage you just saw was taken at the exact moment this woman realized that the police finally knew what happened to her missing 5-year-old daughter. Her life is about to change forever. The co-worker riding in the car with her had no way of knowing just how desperate Brianna had become, and what she did next would likely change his life as well. The majority of the following footage has never been seen before. Police became involved in the situation after 27-year-old Brianna Shantae Williams made this 911 call around 7 a.m. on November 6, 2019.
What's going on?
I do not know where my daughter is.
7 a.m. is early as shit to be committing a crime.
No.
Where was she last seen?
She was here with me.
What was she wearing?
A purple shirt and like pink pajamas, like a t-shirt. She was
Again? Never mind. Do you know where she could have gone?
No.
Have you checked?
Like she just came home. I just picked her up on Halloween night. She was with my mom in Alabama.
Okay. Have you checked the house?
Yes.
Did she have a favorite hiding spot in the house? Like under
No.
the bed?
I checked on it.
Let's check again. Go to her bedroom. Let's check her closet. Nobody else in the house has seen her?
No. It's just me and her.
Are you in her room? Okay. Check under her bed again.
This entire interaction was odd, but thankfully, officers soon arrived on scene and were able to begin trying to piece together what exactly was going on.
So her 5-year-old went missing in the house?
Okay, is this your address here? Okay, it's almost out. Have you had crossed with anybody? Okay. Anything unusual? Okay. Do you live by yourself? Okay. The father of the child. He's not alive. Good. I'm sorry, father of the child? He's not. He's here? He's in Alabama. Okay, so.
She don't look like she's wiping off anything.
Any custody dispute between you and him? No? Okay. Has she done this before as far as anything like try to leave or get out or mess with locks or anything like that? Okay.
I'm just gonna say it's bad quality. I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt. It looks like it's bad quality. But What are you wiping? What are you? You just went. The crocodile tears. Not even crocodile tears. They ain't even tears. There's nothing. Nothing.
Show me which door was locked real quick. Oh, unlocked. Was it the back door? Okay.
Yo.
Okay. When'd you move in? Okay, when did you actually move in? In June? Or? Today's Wednesday. Okay. Did you move in, let's say, over the weekend? Alright.
Actually, Brianna and Taylor had only moved in 3 days ago on November 3rd. Apparently, since June, Brianna had been paying rent on 2 properties, this house
Damn.
and an apartment across town.
Damn, she got money like that?
Details of why she would want to do this later, because as you can see, she seemed more interested in her phone.
She does not go to school. When she put her to bed. Who normally takes care of her when you're not available? Like, where's your mom at? Well, I'm just saying, because she's not in school, like daycare-wise. Where she go?
She was with my mom. I just picked her up on Halloween.
Halloween was actually a week ago, so she didn't exactly just pick her up.
Well, damn.
What's that mean?
Officers managed to get Brianna off her phone long enough for her to share contact details for Taylor's grandmother and biological father. Both Taylor's grandmother and biological father would need to be followed up with, but right now, the focus was kept local. Law enforcement from all over the city started to arrive on Ivy Street as several of the first responders searched the house. While they didn't find any obvious evidence, they definitely noticed a few things out of place.
She weird. Ooh, shit.
Okay. Shotgun out, pistol out, and there's an empty holster on the kitchen area.
Taylor's bed, a pair of slippers, and an open box of crackers were found in one of the bedrooms. Her jacket and backpack were in the kitchen, next to a pack of unopened air fresheners. Besides this, though, there was nothing. No toys, no drawings, no family photos.
Damn.
The police likely had to wonder if this was just a reflection of the recent move, or possibly something more sinister. When looking closely at Taylor's bed, police noticed a reddish-brown substance on the side of the plastic headboard. A similar stain was found on the bedroom door. Fearing it could be blood, they did a quick field test called hemodent, which tests for the presence of mammal blood. The result was negative, but the officers would keep the stain in mind as the investigation continued. Investigators looked through every inch of the house, but didn't find the little girl. Besides being unlocked, the back door showed no signs of forced entry or any damage. Back outside with Brianna, the officers thought of another place to search.
Is this your baby? Okay. Can you open it up for me? Does she have a favorite toy or anything like that she wants to take with her? Mr. Bear?
There were more signs of the little girl in the car than inside the house, including a pink unicorn in the back seat. Something about
That's
the car,
wild.
though, made the officer pause.
Smelling funky.
For some reason, the officer felt the need to give the car a sniff test. When looking inside, police also found some cleaning products and a pair of women's sneakers covered in plant matter. They also might have noticed that while the body of the car was cluttered, the trunk was almost perfectly tidy. Unfortunately, the police wouldn't know the significance of this until a more in-depth search of the car was conducted. For now, it was as if Taylor had simply vanished into thin air.
All units be on the
Aw,
lookout
poor
for
baby.
Taylor Rose Williams. Bravo Foxtrot, approximately 3 foot in height, 50 pounds. She was wearing a pink and purple t-shirt.
Determined to find Taylor, the police launched a neighborhood-wide search effort. Ivy Street, as well as multiple adjacent roads, were taped off. K-9 units were deployed to track Taylor's scent, but were unsuccessful. Even a helicopter was used to canvass the area, with an equally frustrating lack of results. An Amber Alert was sent out, asking people to be on the lookout for Taylor. Unfortunately, the first attempt used the wrong name, claiming that the missing child was named Brianna. This was corrected in a
Oh, what the
subsequent alert.
fuck?
This is a picture of the young lady.
They done goofed off. They done
You ever
goofed.
seen the little girl here? Never seen.
I saw him the other day, but I never seen a kid. I've
Never saw a
seen
kid.
a little girl.
Huh.
All trash pickup was halted for the neighborhood. Any refuse that had already been removed was recovered from the trucks and spread out for police to comb through. This would eventually provide the most promising lead, but it was just going to take time and a strong stomach to find it.
Yeah,
It would take
ugh,
quite
I
a while
can't
for
stomach
officers
going
to
through all
find
that
anything of
trash.
substance as they canvassed the neighborhood, though. So for the time being, the investigation proceeded in other directions, too. Brianna was brought in for an interview, and police hoped she could give them a better idea of how her 5-year-old daughter managed to apparently drop off the face of the earth. The following footage has been analyzed by a qualified team, including a licensed professional counselor, a former detective, licensed polygraph examiner, and former hostage negotiation commander and instructor, and a certified crime scene investigator, certified instructor for the State of Florida Commission on Criminal Justice Standards, and a graduate in crime scene investigations for violent crime.
Jesus. All right, let's see this hooligan.
Almost immediately, it looks like she gets comfortable, as if she's ready for a nap. Her daughter has been missing for hours, yet she doesn't appear panicked. Frequently, when a child is missing, a lot of officers' efforts have to go towards calming a parent down. But clearly that wasn't the case here. This was just the beginning of Brianna's strange behavior. After almost 45 minutes, detectives arrived to speak with Brianna, disrupting her apparently peaceful slumber.
Hey, Brianna. Back again. You alright? You need anything? Water or anything? You okay? You need to go to the restroom or anything? You good? You sure? Alright. I'm sorry we meet under these stressful circumstances. I'm gonna, also working with our missing persons unit, right? Well, basically investigating the age of your child and everything going on, they call, I'm also a detective, but I'm assigned to our cold case unit, which also I'm part of the CART team, which is the Child Abduction Response Team. So, and I don't want to stress you out on that. Listen to me. Look, I just want to explain what I do, all right, and what resources, okay? I mean, Missing Persons is doing an outstanding job. We can extend a little bit more than that, okay? And we have a little bit more specialty on that. So that's how I get involved, because we don't know what happened, okay? We don't know what's going on. We don't know after she left out of the house what happened to her. So this could be a criminal investigation. You understand what I'm saying? Listen to me, okay? We're doing everything we can. We've got everybody out there looking for her, okay? We've got everything going, but I want to make sure we cover everything.
As detectives continued to speak with Brianna, officers worked relentlessly and spoke with the residents in the vicinity.
She's missing. The little girl supposed to live here is missing. You remember seeing the little girl here? Never seen. You're the second person that said that. And how long have they been there, you said, you think? Just a week, month?
I see her coming and going. I've never seen her physically, but I see the car here coming and going. Like this whole weekend that passed, nobody's seen that car was not here. That car just got here.
Right.
It was like 2 days ago, if that.
Right.
Morning, sorry to bother you. Hey, we're looking for a little girl. Have you seen a 5-year-old wearing pink and purple, short fro?
Never seen it before.
No, I don't think I've seen her at all.
After these introductions, Brianna was read her Miranda rights, though she wasn't under arrest.
Okay, so Brianna, like I said, we were going to talk to a lot of people today. Let's just start from the very beginning. Okay? I can't, you gotta speak a little bit loud so we can hear you.
My alarm went off at 5:30, and I got up like around maybe like a little before 6. And then I just went on here and started getting dressed because just me and Taylor in the house. She gets up, even if we're not going anywhere, she's like, we're going out, okay? So I didn't bother, that's where I know eventually she was gonna get up and start undressed. And then I went over to the kitchen and I noticed that the back door was open. I'm like, no, we're not open, but it was unlocked. I'm like, why is the back door unlocked? And that's when I went to her room and she wasn't in there.
As the officers continued their interviews, one of the residents had curious information to share.
We had got up here about 5:30, 6 o'clock this morning. And right when they started putting up the tape off.
That's the black house?
Yeah. He's in his about 20s or 30s. Maybe late. He's been living here by himself.
Oh shit.
This place is A-S.
Black male 20-ish.
Probably about 28. But yeah, this place is
Oh
The
damn,
officer
that's the
ran a background
dad?
check on this suspicious individual who lived near the house where Brianna and Taylor just moved. As this was happening, investigators continued to gather more information from Brianna.
It was almost 7 o'clock.
Okay. So then you went into her room and you saw that.
She wasn't in the bed. I looked under, well, she always a little baby bed, so she can't really fit underneath without looking underneath there anyway. I checked her closet. Then I went in my room and looked underneath my bed. I know she wouldn't come in my room like she's, I don't know, like she's very well mannered, like she'll knock or ask to come in.
Okay.
And I checked in my bathroom, I checked in my closet. She wasn't in there. So then I just started checking the cabinets. And she wasn't in there either. Like, okay, I'm gonna go outside. And I checked my car just to be, be sure that, I definitely didn't leave for the car. So, I looked under the car, she wasn't there either.
Note that there's no real emotion in Brianna's voice as she talks
Yeah.
about looking for her child.
Okay, then what?
Then I just stopped calling. No,
Okay.
I can't find her.
Okay. What time did you see her before then?
It was like around midnight.
Brianna said that Taylor put herself to bed around midnight. While this wasn't impossible, the late hour and Taylor's alleged independence likely struck investigators as unusual given her age. However, this was nothing compared to the strange turn Brianna's story took next.
Did you check on her prior to you going to sleep?
No.
Okay, so you assume that she was asleep? Okay. Did you hear any noise coming from her room or anything like that?
Not from her room, but there were like, I can't explain it. Like, there were like when you drag something or you move something, but it was coming from upstairs. And either way, like, I just grab my gun and, walk around to make sure, okay, there's nobody.
And you didn't check on your kid?
House that you're in?
Bitch. If you hear some creepy ass shit going up on the top floor and you grab your gun, are you not going to check on your child? Especially if, like, oh my god, I don't even know. There could be some weird ass noise coming outside and I will still check on my mama because my mama's old. That's wild. Okay. Didn't even once check on her kid even though there's something going up, something bumping in the night.
They're on the stairs, that's the part that I didn't understand, but it definitely sounded like it was coming from the roof.
Did you wake up hearing this noise?
Yes, like the little, whatever noise it was, it sounded like it changes, like sometimes I can hear it like near where I sleep, sometimes like back towards the kitchen area.
Okay, and it sounded like dragging noise?
Yes, it's like somebody's moving something or walking.
So you said you grabbed your guns, you have your
Yes,
guns?
I grabbed my gun and.
Did you check the house?
Yes, I walk around the open spaces that I know people can come in through.
Did you go outside and check? Okay, so you just checked around the house? Did you go in your daughter's room at that time and look at it? Okay.
Brianna said that she didn't see anything amiss when she searched the house, and that all the doors were still locked. Still, if she was alarmed enough to arm herself before walking through the house, it makes no sense that she wouldn't take a few seconds to check on her sleeping child. Some of the officers and residents shared a similar sentiment.
I hope they exhausted the parental angle. You know what I'm saying? Knocking on every door we can.
Okay, now, but she was missing since midnight.
Yeah, purple PJs on. The back door is probably open.
Well, no, don't check on the child.
Clock her.
Stay with us, and my son is 36. As a habit, I go back to
So, if you heard the noise, why did you say you didn't go into her room?
Because I had a gun, I didn't want to go up in there. Then she got bars on her window, so I just like you can't get in there.
You said you don't like guns around her, but are they laid out like that? So she's
not normally. Like when she's sleeping, yes, I put them out because, like I said, like the place is broken into, so I sleep with my guns like right there.
Police left the matter alone for the time
What?
being and switched to a different
That's
topic.
weird.
Once again, though, the conversation didn't go as they were likely expecting.
Like, okay, what if she gets up in the night and plays with the guns? Why would you have the guns out and open like that, lady? That's weird. All bad. So bad.
What do you think happened this morning? Where do you think she's at?
I have no clue, because she wouldn't leave. And I don't even know, like, did they find Mr. Bad? Because she won't go anywhere without, I think.
What?
This little pink teddy bear she calls Mr. Bad.
The Mr. Bear angle was potentially helpful, as it was something the searchers could keep a lookout for. By this point, police were likely realizing that something was seriously wrong. What that was exactly remained to be seen.
Where were you staying prior to this address?
The south side.
And how long did you live at the south side address?
We were there for like a year and a half.
Oh, shoot. Sorry about that.
And why were you moving?
Because I wanted to move to a different area. Like, I always did this. I did this in Virginia. Like, I lived in Norfolk, and like a year later, I moved to Virginia Beach.
Okay.
I just like moved.
So when was your lease up at the south side address?
In May.
So your lease was up in May, but you were still living there?
Yes, it was up. It went to month to month. Because I was supposed to put in a notice. They wanted a 60-day notice, and I kept forgetting to put it in.
Brianna also said that as she was preparing to move to the house on Ivy Street, a large problem with the residents became evident.
But I was actually like trying to prepare to move out, and I went back like around the 4th of July to the Ivy place. And that's when I saw like the back doors open and like somebody had moved the refrigerator outside. So I called the property manager because I thought maybe, he was like renovating or something, he didn't tell me. But he was like, no. So he went ahead and changed the law.
So for 6 months, you had 2 residents.
Yes.
What 3 days ago made you need to move urgently if you were there if you had both places for 6 months?
That was the day that I actually was like able to find movers, because that was the whole issue. I was like, I didn't know which company am I going to go for. I had asked around, it was like, just ask me for work.
But you found someone from Craigslist, right?
Sorry about that.
Which you say you do everything from Craigslist. A lot of things. So why hadn't you done that 6 months ago?
Never crossed my mind.
Police would come to find that many things concerning the investigation didn't seem to cross her mind. What they would find when they searched her other residence too would leave them shocked.
So on Sunday, you get a hold of movers. Okay.
Did they take everything?
Just the big things.
Why didn't you, if you were paying them, why didn't they take everything?
It was last minute and all that. I hadn't packed everything, like clothes and stuff. Most of the clothes and stuff was still there.
Okay. So what was the urgency? Why couldn't you wait to find a mover once you had everything packed up and ready to go so that you can move everything in one go around?
Because she's guilty?
We're gonna call your mom and we're gonna verify some information. Okay, you know where this is gonna lead to? Okay, so the movers, it was pretty abrupt. You needed to be out of that house that day, Sunday, according to the conversation that one of my partners had with the detective, with the movers. Okay, what was in like, what was the urgency?
It wasn't.
According to the movers, it was I had to be out today.
I didn't tell them that.
Okay. All right.
Nothing Brianna is saying is making sense, and it's hard to believe she would think the detective would believe her, but they don't confront her yet.
Anybody take care of your 5-year-old or your daughter?
Well, she was going to the CDC on base.
Okay.
So she kindergarten and the CDC.
When was the last time she was at CDC? I'm sorry if I'm asking you questions. Last year in May?
Yeah.
When police checked with the daycare on base, the administration office told them that Taylor had last been there on April 27th and was officially withdrawn shortly after. They also shared that Taylor had previously been in speech therapy. When police checked in with the therapist's office, they likely noticed a concerning pattern. Taylor had attended regularly for 13 weeks, but then never came back. After 2 no-show appointments, she was discharged from the system at the beginning of May.
Well,
And
damn.
I understand she was in Tuscaloosa?
Yeah, she was my mom.
Okay. Your mom, who's your mom?
Carissa.
Carissa. And how long was she in Tuscaloosa? When did she go there?
Off and on. She's been there pretty much all summer, actually.
So you went down there to pick her up and brought her back here for one day?
Over the weekend.
And
Because,
then,
yeah, 'cause it's only, like 7, 8 hour drive. I used to drive from Virginia to Alabama over the weekend, and that's 17 hours.
okay.
So, you bring her back on the 31st. How long was that visit?
That was since the beginning of October.
So, the 4 months you stayed in October with your mom, Carissa.
And prior to you dropping her down there October 1st, or the first part of October, when was the last time she was there before then?
Damn. See, this is also weird. Like, her story is like, I don't know, not adding up.
Like the first week of September, she was here.
Mm-hmm.
I think whenever the storm hit.
Would your mom be able to tell us what days when she last saw your daughter? So I think we have her number, right? So if we call her, she's gonna say that she saw her in the month of August.
Brianna had no way to know that the police had already spoken with her mother, and they would confront her with what Carissa told them soon enough.
Okay, so when she was here with you, during the weeks or weekends and you had to work, who was watching her?
Oh, no, like when she was here, like those days that I'm off, so no one is watching her besides me.
So since you've gotten back on the 31st, you have not been to work?
No, I'm still on leave. Well, I'm leaving until this morning.
How long have you been on leave?
It's been since October the 29th to the 30th. The 28th, I'm not sure.
You would take her to your mom every time?
Yes, or I just don't leave her there. That's why I was like, I couldn't, the back and forth, and I didn't want anybody else watching. Like, I don't know people did it like that.
But you running from someone explains
the lady on Craigslist today to watch her.
I don't know. She seems weird, not gonna lie.
When searching Brianna's phone, police had come across communications between her and the woman she'd found on Craigslist to watch Taylor. When police followed up with the woman, she told them that Brianna had texted her this morning to say her services wouldn't be needed after all. This was only one of the many discrepancies police would find in Brianna's story.
What the hell? Craigslist to babysit your baby? Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. That is crazy. That is wild. Hell no. I don't even want strangers. I don't want strangers to be visiting my baby, especially not from Craigslist. No offense to anybody that uses Craigslist, but people be weird. People be weird as shit on there.
You said your hours changed, so did you change positions or your job title or what?
No, just the hours.
What is the norm? What is it supposed to be?
Oh, I don't know the rotation.
You don't know your rotation at work?
Not the duty hour rotation.
So you don't know. You couldn't tell me right now when you were going to be on call next?
If I had a planner, I could, but no. I planner on my phone, put them in.
So
I think Friday would be the next time I do because I was on leave. So.
Standing duty was part of Brianna's job as enlisted Navy personnel. This tended to be a 12-hour shift, once or twice a week. The fact that Brianna didn't know her duty schedule, especially since she claimed she would have had to arrange childcare whenever she was scheduled, was odd. However, this paled in comparison to what police were about to reveal.
Pales in comparison to her looking on Craigslist for a babysitter. She said she don't know people, she don't like people like that, but gets a babysitter from Craigslist. Right. Okay, girl, make that make sense.
They called your mom. She hasn't seen your daughter since January.
Yes, she has.
Oh.
Why would she say that? Why would she say that? This is Carissa. This is your mom.
That's my mom.
Why would she say that?
She didn't say that.
In a subsequent interview, Carissa Williams repeated what she'd told investigators that day on the phone. The implications were spine-chilling. Please note that
What'd
the
she
police
say?
department made redactions to remove Taylor's name from the recording.
So you hadn't heard from her in 2 years?
2 years?
Prior to that, yes.
So out of the blue, in 2 years, he told you.
No, it didn't go like that.
Well, tell me how.
I'm putting things in my personal business.
It's hard to imagine anything more personal than a missing grandchild, but Carissa still seemed reluctant to go
What
into
the
detail about
hell?
what she knew.
I don't like it when people go up into my personal business. Lady, that's your grandkid. Your grandkid is missing. Your own blood is missing. What? How much more personal can this get? What do you mean? Like, oh, I see where Brianna gets her weird. I see where Brianna gets her weird ass fucking attitude. Look at her mom. Her mom's fucking weird. My personal business, bitch. Your grandkid is missing. This is as personal as it can get. What do you mean? Ain't nothing more important, woman.
To understand the severity of what
I know.
And with me wanting you to understand the severity of what's going on is, I don't care about your life, personal life.
Right.
We are going to find.
Say it.
And whatever happens, whatever gets in the way between us, fine, then we're gonna deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a threat. That's a promise.
Oh, you heard that? That's not a threat. That's a promise. That's a promise, Carissa.
Conversation with her about telling her commanding officer anything as far as you, if he calls you, that she would come to get.
Right. Fuck your personal business, lady.
That she did. This was just last week.
Tell me about that.
Now she did call whatever day that I want to say it was Halloween. I want to say it was actually the day of Halloween.
So last Thursday, 31st.
Yes. She told me that if he called, to tell him that she was down to pick me up from me for Halloween. Mind you, I haven't seen it in 2 years. So I'm thinking like, well, okay, she just met this new guy. Maybe she, took a little time off to go meet him or whatever, and she just used that lie to get away. But I couldn't tell you, she said it. So I'm like, where's the matter of fact, I asked her one day, I said, well, what's doing? She said, oh, she in the back seat. So I'm like, okay, but she never did put on the thing. Hey, I never did the anything.
Police followed up with the man Carissa alleged Brianna had recently started seeing, particularly since Brianna hadn't mentioned him, and in fact insisted that she didn't have a boyfriend. However, he didn't have much information to share. He was only vaguely aware that Brianna had a daughter, and assumed that the little girl had been staying with her father when he and Brianna were together. When police checked with Taylor's father, Maurice, he hadn't seen the little girl lately either. All he could tell them was that the last time he did see her, at the funeral for Brianna's grandmother, he didn't think she was being fed enough, as she was very small. He added that he had a difficult time checking up on Taylor after that, though, as Brianna changed her phone number frequently. Maurice provided investigators with a DNA sample and said he was willing to assist in any way that he could. Back with Brianna's mother, Carissa told police that she'd previously watched Taylor for extended periods of time, but that ended when Brianna enrolled her in daycare on the naval base. The last time she'd seen the little girl in person was also at the funeral for Brianna's grandmother. Police weren't ready to believe Carissa just yet, however, due to some interesting evidence recovered from Brianna's phone.
I can tell you it's pinging at a tower in the vicinity of this area that is pinging off of. What's throwing us for a loop right now is if she's living in Jacksonville, why is her phone pinging on?
Despite this, Carissa swore that she hadn't seen Brianna or Taylor on Halloween. Police were still working on downloading the data from the GPS in Brianna's car to determine an exact route, so soon enough, they would know for sure who was telling the truth. The search of Brianna's phone turned up something else concerning too. Police found
What
a text
else?
message conversation in which Brianna had told a former co-worker in Virginia that Taylor had become a nightmare, as she was, according to her, stealing food and misbehaving. In Alabama, Carissa was
Stealing
so adamant of
food?
her innocence that she got Brianna's father, Wayne, on the phone to join the discussion and brainstorm what might be going on.
Stealing food and misbehaving? What do you mean? That's your mom. Lady, that's your kid. What do you mean stealing food? She can't. Is your daughter not allowed to just go to the kitchen and get herself a cup of water? Get herself an apple? A banana? What do you mean stealing food? Bitch, it's your house. That's your kid. They should be allowed to go get food or snacks when they want. Oh. Oh, she's weird. Oh, she's giving me the heebies.
I don't understand why she would even lie and say that she was picked for police. Man, she lied on me. I never been in trouble.
She lied on me.
She is lying. She's trying to cover up something. Not sure what it is. She is lying.
You have no idea what she's trying to cover up, though.
I have no idea what she's trying to cover up. That's the one thing I don't know.
Someone was lying, but whether it was Brianna or Carissa was yet to be determined, as was the exact reason of why. Investigators would follow up on the Alabama lead, but as promised, also caught up with the movers Brianna had hired on Craigslist. They had nothing reassuring to say either.
They never saw you lie. They never saw you put her in the car. They never saw her at the other house. They never saw her.
She loves Craigslist.
I didn't want them to see her.
Why not?
Because I don't know them like that.
Well, I mean, you're not introducing me to her, but how did you leave her at the house on Southside and then go to Ivy without her? They never saw her. They never saw you put her in the car.
Saying I don't like introducing my daughter like that, and yet you gonna get a Craigslist babysitter, bitch. Get off it. Be so for real.
Well,
That lady's face is my face right now.
She wasn't with you. The two movers are saying that they never saw. They heard water running, and you said that she was in there, but they never saw her.
If what the movers were saying was true, it seemed like Taylor hadn't been at either of Brianna's residences. Carissa said she hadn't seen the girl in 2 years, and the child care records on the Navy base showed that Taylor's attendance became spotty throughout the month of April, and she was officially withdrawn back in May, around 6 months before she was reported
6
missing.
months?
A new horrifying question was quickly coming to the forefront of the investigation. When was the last time anyone besides Brianna had seen Taylor?
Right.
Shockingly, the little girl's mother wasn't inclined to help answer this question.
Of course she wasn't.
Just I am done, because you're lying to me now. So
How am I lying to you? I'm not lying to
You
you.
just said that my mom, I literally picked my mom, I mean, not my mom.
I'm just telling you what my partner said. And I don't have to explain to you, but
I don't know where to get that from, because I literally went down there.
Do you want to talk to the detectives I spoke with her and then get that? Find out what the information they gave?
I'm done with this, because I don't know where this is going, but no. Like, the second time this has happened, like, some other lady was, like, saying stuff that I didn't even say, like, she was twisting my words, like,
Brianna has no idea that her odd behavior was quickly becoming the least of the police's concern
Right.
as they were searching her apartment at that very moment. Just like they'd done at Ivy Street, police canvassed the area and talked to Brianna's neighbors. Disturbingly, very few of them recalled ever seeing the little girl. One man who did, named Carlos Johnson, said he found Taylor roaming the apartment complex unaccompanied back on April 17, 2019, looking for her mother. He took her home only to find her wandering the parking lot again a few days later. Carlos said that Taylor didn't appear frightened or distressed, like the situation was familiar to her. He also told police that he would see her waving at him from her window at times when Brianna's car was gone, suggesting to him that the little girl was alone. If police thought this was bad, then they must have been horrified when they entered the apartment itself. From the outside, Brianna's apartment was unassuming and looked just like any of the others in the complex. But as soon as the door was open, it was clear that something awful had happened inside. The entryway to the apartment was filled with trash, as was the kitchen. It was so cluttered with random items and refuse that it was
Ugh, dude, that place is disgusting. What the fuck? She lived there? What the fuck? Oh my god, how could you even walk? Literally, look at this trash. It's all over the place. Huh? That shit is crazy. Look at that.
Unusable. The living room was not in any better condition, having been taken over by...
Damn! What the fuck? This looks like an episode off of Hoarders. This is crazy. Damn! And the little kid was in here?
Heaping mountain of trash and personal belongings. It seemed no effort had been made to separate the two categories. There were children's toys and clothing included in the mess, most stained with what appeared to be feces. One of the toys in particular
Oh, crap, dude.
probably stood out to police thanks to Brianna's description. A pink stuffed animal was found in the mountain of refuse, possibly Mr. Bear. The toy Brianna said Taylor refused to go anywhere without. Police would face a heartbreaking reason why Mr. Bear was there as they searched more of the apartment. Bleach and urine remover, along with more air fresheners, were also found in the apartment. If police thought the living room and kitchen were in bad condition, they were in for a shock when they entered the master bedroom. Police had to move more trash and soiled belongings to even gain entry into the room. The carpet was encrusted with filth, which appeared to include more human waste. When they opened the closet,
why is there why is there so much, like, poo all over the fucking floors? Like, lady, you didn't clean for shit. Oh my god. Literally. I get it.
Changed from merely disgusting to horrific.
Just want clarity later, but not it's a late day. I just want my baby home.
And that's what we're trying to do.
That's the whole thing, because there's no way my mom will tell you she hasn't seen us since January. Like, what?
And that's what I'm asking you. Do you want to continue to talk to us about what's going on?
Not right now, no. Like, this is going too far right now.
Okay, so you don't want to answer any questions as to the whereabouts of your daughter?
I don't know what she is.
Well, and I'm trying to get the background. Yes or no?
I've told you everything that I know. Like, I don't know.
So you don't want to answer any more questions?
Here now.
Okay. Do you want to answer any?
Talk to her when she gets here. You talk to her when she
But you don't want to talk to us anymore?
I don't know.
Okay.
I need to call the job.
Well, take care of that. Do you need anything like a bathroom or water or anything like that?
I need to talk to legal. I was going to talk to them about these.
Okay, do you need water, do you need a bathroom or anything like that right now? If you need anything, knock on the door.
The detectives would revisit Brianna in a bit, but went to check in on other aspects of the investigation. By this time, it was no longer just the Jacksonville police involved in the search. They'd been joined by the Jacksonville Sheriff's Department, the Alabama Bureau of Investigation, FBI, and even the Naval Criminal Investigation Service, or NCIS. Additionally, the neighborhood canvass around Ivy Street continued the whole time Brianna was at the police station. Just before 10:30 p.m., officers in the area ran into a surprise visitor.
What's your information? Give me 1 second.
Having human fecal matter in the apartment is crazy. I bet you it was that poor baby.
Your relation.
Back at the police department, Brianna was still in the interrogation room. If she was worried about her daughter or even concerned about what police might find when searching her apartment, she did a fantastic job of hiding it. She was left waiting but found a few ways to help pass the time, including fixing her nails, redoing her hair, and going to sleep. 4 more hours
what the
went
hell?
by, during which Brianna again attempted to get some sleep in the interrogation room.
How you gonna sleep when your baby's, like, missing?
I'll get some answers for you. You just gonna have to need your patience for now. We're all kind of sitting around working diligently. We're not really sitting around doing nothing, but I'll get some answers for you, okay? Yes, I do believe so. So, I know, just be patient with this, please.
Unluckily, when a fresh set of detectives came in, it seemed 8 hours of timeout hadn't made Brianna any more cooperative.
Damn! Damn, she was in there for 8 hours? That's crazy. I mean, what do you expect? I still lock her up. Just lock her up at this point. She's not...
Couple things we need to go over real quick.
You're gonna be free to go. However, you're not gonna be able to go back to Ivy Street or Southside tonight. We still have your phone. So who do you need to contact, or can we take you somewhere, or what do you what's the best option for you?
I can get a room, but no, it is at Ivy.
Brianna never came up with any options of her own, so the police called her command, who sent a petty officer from the base to come pick her up. Notably, over a total of more than 11 hours spent at the police station, Brianna never once asked for an update on the search for her daughter. When Brianna's mother, Carissa, heard about her daughter's lack of cooperation, she was perplexed.
Why wouldn't she want to talk when her is missing?
You know her better than I do.
Because some of the things, a lot of, well, I can't even say some of the things, a lot of the things is not adding up to me.
You can agree on that.
Investigators also asked Carissa some questions about Brianna's personality in general to see if it would help make sense of her odd behavior.
She seems like a piece of work.
She's an emotional person.
Do she shut down? Does she feel like it's getting too much?
No, I'm just saying if something traumatic happened, that she was going to show emotions. Use an example, your mom's film. How was she doing that?
Well, she didn't cry.
No, she didn't cry.
Brianna was reportedly very close to her maternal grandmother, who had raised Brianna for a large portion of her childhood. The fact that Brianna did not express grief at the time of her death may have stood out to police as eerily similar to her behavior in the interrogation room. Investigators also learned
She's just
that
not a
Brianna
good
was known to
person.
visit her grandmother's gravesite in Alabama regularly. So regularly, in fact, that more than one friend suggested the police search that area for Taylor too. And that's exactly what they did. Over the next week, the search expanded from Jacksonville, Florida to the area surrounding Linden, Alabama. Before Carissa's interview concluded, police had one last question for her, probably the hardest one yet.
If she did something like that, would she tell you?
That's why I wanted to talk to her.
The investigation continued on for the rest of the week, but mounting evidence police...
AKA, if she killed your daughter, would she tell you she killed her? I don't know. Yeah, no. Brianna seems like, she just seems so cold. What a cold person. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. The Brianna that I knew at work, same. Actually, I don't even know what her name was. I don't think it was Brianna, but there was a girl that I knew at work, literally had the same demeanor, and she was a nasty person. She was not a good person at all. Like, her behavior was calm. She was calm, collected, but ooh, she was not a good person, and she did not care. She did not care. Even her own mama didn't like her, so I think that says a lot.
Was far from reassuring. None of it, however, led them to Taylor. Growing desperate, police decided to try talking to Brianna a different way. Since Brianna's father, Wayne, had been cooperative so far, detectives asked them to make a controlled call to Brianna to see if he could learn anything. It didn't go well.
Yeah, I've been thinking, and I was wondering, anything you do, anything you remember, that anybody looked wrong or anything, you know somebody might have? You know everything with your phone? Okay, what's in your phone? Sometimes, like, what would help us? Like, what we need to find? So I'm saying, if you tell me that, I can call them. See what I'm saying? I still got to take the number down, check number. I can call them and tell them what to look for in your phone. Yeah, but I don't.
I'm trying to go to sleep.
Brianna's annoyance raises a host of red flags. What she did next, though, stood out the most.
You said everything's in your phone, but what else can it do to the phone? Yeah, but I can't believe she hung up on me.
Police had better luck when they recruited two of Brianna's closest friends, Chelsea and Dorielle, to also try and make a controlled call.
Hey, how you doing? Okay. You just been resting today? Yeah, well,
She said anything to you today?
no. He called and asked if I needed something to come upstairs, but that was it. You ain't talked to your dad in no. Yeah, no. Did he go back? Yeah. Is your mom gonna come down? No. You're so quiet. You miss us already.
You don't miss us?
That messed up, bro. Anything been on your mind today? You had anything?
How is she more? She's laughing. She seems like she's having a good time on that phone call. What the fuck? Your child's missing, dude.
No.
With Taylor's disappearance so fresh in everyone's minds, there had to be a reason that the case wasn't weighing on Brianna, as was becoming
At
typical.
all.
She didn't seem inclined to share what that reason was.
Like, ain't no, like, coverage on Taylor no more. Like, everything kind of, like, died down. Like, we, like, super kind of nervous that they just come and, like people done forgot. Like, basically, they just, like, they moving on in the world. And we need you to say something because, like, that's the only thing I feel like that'll bring, like, some light back to her story. Some.
Well, we really just want to know just what's going on. We still, like, you know, we're going to be there for you. And we want to be there so we want to know what's going on for that closure.
I don't even know what's going on.
You ain't heard nothing?
No, like nobody talks to me. Like, the only time I call for me is like, oh, what y'all doing? I'm doing, I don't know, I'm pretty sure my kids are doing it to make sure I'm not getting off myself. Because he calls like very randomly. People come knocking on the door like, oh, you're not going to work, bro. You know what room this is. Like, don't do that.
Yeah.
You're the CEO too, like, you're the, the duty person.
Yeah.
Don't act like, you just popped up here.
Time would soon reveal that the Navy command had been more on top of things than anyone could have imagined. Brianna's co-workers weren't the only ones who'd been attempting to check up on her.
Did your mama come down there? Because she had told us that, well, she had told her daddy that she was coming down there yesterday.
She been coming since Wednesday.
She's been coming since the day that it happened.
But she just
like, I've given up on her. Like, I don't know what the hell going on.
I think you might need to ask her, like, why y'all stories different. Like, why you saying that?
Because she's lying. Because she's
You know,
lying.
she really was. What, like, what is about? You need to ask her that.
Do you think I'm gonna get a trap?
I don't know, but you don't want to at least want to know why she's saying that?
Like, what is her reason?
I mean, I do, but do y'all really believe she's gonna tell the truth? She hasn't told the truth yet.
I don't know what her reasoning is, but it's to keep the lie going for so long. Cause
I mean, it's too late now. She can't backtrack.
Chelsea and Doriel then asked Brianna about the possibility of there being evidence in the apartment she left when she moved to the house on Ivy Street.
Do you think it's something maybe in the old apartment that they'll find that'll help? Like,
no.
Because
if they did, they would have found her. Remember, they closed up both of them. They closed up but 3 days, 4 days after me.
Police had, in fact, found shocking evidence in Brianna's apartment, specifically the bedroom closet. Brianna had to have guessed what they'd found, but still chose to remain silent on the matter.
So, Brianna, you hadn't thought about, like, her just being out there by herself? You know she's scared of everything, like, that, you don't think about that?
I don't want to think about that right now.
I mean, well, I've been thinking about it.
Okay, then don't think about that.
It's cold. That's kind of why I think I can't sleep knowing that it's, and you know how innocent she was. Like, she really cling to the people she knows. I think that's why it's eating me up so much.
Hauntingly, Brianna's only response was silence.
if he thinks it's a good idea, would you be okay talking to the detective for me?
Yes.
Yeah. The same one, or you want to move?
Oh, yeah, no, not that lady.
Okay, bro, that's what I was gonna ask you, man.
Based on Brianna's lack of cooperation and some other concerning evidence that would be addressed soon, police decided to place her under round-the-clock surveillance. It didn't take long for this to pay off. Early on November 11th, just 5 days after Taylor went missing, Brianna was seen donating some of Taylor's belongings.
Just 5 days? What the fuck? How are you going to be donating your child's missing things 5 days after everybody's searching? Like, are you... That's insane. That's insane. Ain't no way. Oh, what the fuck? That's evil, dude.
stuffed animals, clothes, and even some unopened packages of toys. Around the same time, the efforts of all the officers digging through countless heaps of trash finally paid off. They stumbled upon a box addressed to Brianna, along with certificates from the Navy with her name on them. This wasn't what they were most interested in, however. Also in the trash were several notes from the daycare center on the Navy base, requesting a change of clothes and a toothbrush for Taylor. In the trash, police also found several art projects, which police assumed had been made by Taylor. One of the projects was a handmade card from Taylor to her mother. Why Brianna didn't want these items, especially when her daughter was missing, was a mystery. There was also still the issue of what was discovered in the closet in Brianna's apartment. To say it was disturbing would be a massive understatement. One of the first things investigators noticed was a foul odor emanating from the space. It was impossible to say if this was a result of more feces found inside or the mysterious stains covering the walls and carpets. It seems a minor effort had been made to control the smell by sprinkling baking soda on the rug. Police took multiple DNA swabs from the inside of the closet, collecting samples from the walls, floors, and each stain. It would take time to receive DNA results, so they also conducted a field test to determine if any of the stains were human blood. Dismayingly, while the swabs didn't immediately indicate blood, many of the stains on the walls reacted when sprayed with luminol. Fearing the worst, police opted to have a cadaver dog brought to the apartment. However, the smell of feces and trash was so overwhelming that the dog was unable to effectively alert. Police resorted to ripping out the carpet from the closet and taking it outside. In the fresh air, the dog was much more effective and alerted on the carpet right away, indicating that at least some of the stains came from human remains. This wasn't the only area that got a response. When cadaver dogs were brought to Brianna's car, they alerted in no less than 3 areas: the driver's seat, the rear seats, and trunk. When police took a closer look at the trunk of the car, they noticed that there was an unknown whitish residue on the interior. They also found a broken fingernail and an air freshener jammed into the trunk lid, which likely came from the package found in the Ivy Street house. The vehicle had a pervasive scent of cleaning chemicals. Despite the car wash, they also located some reddish dirt on the underside of the vehicle that matched the soil on the dirt road in Alabama. There was now no way to deny it. This was no longer a missing persons case, but rather an investigation into a death. Brianna.
Yeah, so when they bring in cadaver dogs can smell death. Like, they are trained to smell death. This, oh my God, this case is crazy. That mama, she don't give a fuck. She does not care about her child at all.
His mother had feared this outcome all along.
I want your opinion on what you think is wrong.
To be honest, I think she died, flipped the switch.
What would wrong make her flip the switch?
Flip the switch?
I never knew. Not
Were you
really.
aware of it or was it in the mouth? You were aware of it? Okay, how did the problem? You're saying you haven't witnessed it. You were aware of it. That's one. What made you think she flipped the switch?
But I always say this speaking with her dad. He just so no, he just said, she get angry at like the simple things. He just asked her to tell his girlfriend thank you, and she got so mad that she just blocked him on all social media. She completely stopped talking.
Police plan to place Brianna under arrest on November 12th, following a final gruesome discovery. The charges she faced at this time were child neglect and providing false information to law enforcement officials. Her chief was sent to pick her up on base and bring her to the police station for booking. However, no matter what he may have expected, what happens next is so shocking, it must have shaken him to the core.
I hate watching bad news, stuff like that on the news, and I hate going back and forth with it, everything's going on. But, now they're saying
Low key, she looks so innocent.
Open it up. Oh, yeah. Just napkins or something, you okay?
What the fuck? I mean, the child neglect is there in your face, girl. Like, you neglected your child like crazy. Why is she vomiting? What the hell? Did she take something?
It was quickly becoming obvious that something was wrong with Brianna, but the chief could not have possibly predicted how dire the situation was about to become.
What the fuck? What is she doing? What's happening? Did she take something to off herself? I don't know. I think so. She don't look right. She does not look okay.
There was only so long the chief could wait for a coherent answer before he decided he needed to take action. And it wasn't a moment too soon, because what was coming would likely stay with him for the rest of his career, if not his life.
Take it to the ER. No, Williams, talk.
That is so scary. What the fuck? That is
Just
so
minutes
scary.
later, as the pair were en route to the hospital, the worst happened.
Same pulse. Same pulse.
Then a car crash. Oh shit.
No. Oh God. Oh God.
That's my reaction too, dude. Oh my god, that's so scary. I mean, at least she's seated up. Just go as fast as you can. Don't follow the speed limit. Keep going, oh shit. Not him going, oh shit. Oh shit. Oh man. He's relatable. No. Damn, this is wild. Oh, he stopped the car? Did they make it to the ER?
The
Oh,
chief
nice.
arrived
Okay,
at the
they made
Navy
it.
base emergency room just moments after Brianna's massive seizure. and she was still deemed to be in critical condition. There was only so much the doctors could do without knowing what was wrong with her. Brianna slipped into a coma and was placed on life support. Her condition was determined to be unstable. While Brianna's fate was up in the air, elsewhere other questions pertaining to the investigation were finally being answered. Police finished downloading the GPS data from Brianna's car. It confirmed what they suspected based on her phone records, showing that she had made 3 back-and-forth trips to the Linden, Alabama area between October 31st and the very early hours of November 3rd. Police retrieved video of Brianna getting gas along the route she took, though it was impossible to tell if Taylor was in the car with her due to the vehicle's tinted windows. They also found evidence that Brianna had stopped at a car wash on November 4th. Security footage from the business didn't show anyone else in the car with her. Most significantly, the GPS proved that Brianna's mother, Carissa, had been telling the truth. The GPS showed that while Brianna had gotten close to her mother's residence, she had not driven there. It also showed that on her final trip to Alabama, she'd spent almost 20 minutes on an out-of-the-way dirt road and wasn't far from the cemetery where Brianna's grandmother was buried. Obviously, police wanted to know why and assembled a search team consisting of police, medical professionals, and dogs to go and search just outside Linden, Alabama for themselves. The area was divided into quadrants to be excavated and sifted through. While a cadaver dog searched the area, it didn't take long for the investigators to uncover some tragic results. Partially buried in a shallow grave, police found a trash bag wrapped in a shower curtain containing a children's t-shirt covered in decomposition stains. But it was about to get worse. Just yards away, the first bones and bone fragments were found. Most of the skull was found a short distance away, along with a clump of human hair that might have been Taylor's. The remains had been scattered and seriously damaged by animal activity. As a result, police were only able to recover a small portion of what they suspected to be Taylor's body. However, they would have to wait on DNA testing to prove it, since the remains were almost completely skeletal. Police were pretty sure about how the body came to be in Alabama, but the only person who could confirm their theory was Brianna, and she remained in critical condition. A search of Brianna's quarters on the Navy base led investigators to believe that Brianna had ingested laundry detergent. Once they knew what they were treating her for, doctors were able to more effectively intervene and saved Brianna's life. Once she was discharged from the hospital, she was brought back to the police station and given one more chance to tell her side of the story.
Do you drink coffee or anything? You want coffee? Soda, water? Nothing? Okay.
Just like before, Brianna quickly made herself as comfortable as possible and appeared to try to go to sleep. This time, though, she only had to wait about 20 minutes before detectives came in to talk with her.
Brianna? I need you to sit up and go over some paperwork again, okay? Then I'm going to go over the rest of your rights with you, okay? And I want you to just acknowledge that you understand. You do not have to make a statement or say anything. You understand that? I'm going to need a yes or no, okay? Is that a yes? Okay.
The detectives advised Brianna of the rest of her rights once again.
Hey Brianna, did the nurse assist you with your throat issue that you were telling me about at the hospital?
A little bit. Does it feel better today? Not complete. Are you normally just quiet all the time, real low key, don't go out talking? I am too, I'm kind of shy. Can you tell? Can you tell? First of all, we need to have a good conversation, so I'm going to need you to sit up from that thing over there and stop being on that wall and talk to me, okay? Look at me when I'm talking. We've had an investigation going on for a while. Our investigation has led us to some things in Alabama, okay? And what we need to do today with you is we need to talk about what's going on out there. Now, where in Alabama are you from? Are you from Alabama? Is that a yes? You gotta say yes or no to me, okay? I can't have head dialogue and we can't have misunderstanding. Are you from Alabama? You don't want to talk? Okay. You're tired, you don't want to talk.
She's still going on. Oh my God.
Okay.
With that anticlimactic end to the interview, Brianna followed her pattern of behavior throughout the case and went back to sleep. Ultimately, police didn't need Brianna's
She went
cooperation
back
in
to
order to
sleep.
answer their remaining questions. 4 days after this failed attempt to speak with Brianna, on November 25th, DNA testing proved the remains found in the Alabama woods belonged to Taylor. As a
Damn.
result, Brianna was now facing charges of murder. Due to the poor condition of the remains and the fact that the searchers were only able to recover about 10% of Taylor's skeleton, it was
Holy
impossible
crap.
to determine a cause of death. However, analysis of her tooth enamel and skull showed evidence of serious malnutrition.
Oh my
They
God,
also
poor
couldn't
baby.
provide an exact time of death and were only able to say that the little girl had passed anywhere from several weeks to several months ago, between
Damn.
May and November 2019. Given that the rate of decomposition is dependent on the size of the human and environmental factors, decomposition can start as early as 24 hours after death or as late as 72 hours after death. In conditions where the body isn't exposed to the sun and is in a climate-controlled environment, it would take at least 4 weeks for the body to begin to skeletonize. In this particular case, Taylor was a small, malnourished child and covered with a plastic shower curtain. This would slow down the rate of decomposition by locking in moisture and protecting the remains from bugs and direct sunlight. The issue of knowing the rate of decomposition in this case is the variable of animal activity, which could expose the remains to the elements at different rates. If her remains had no indication of animal activity, were wrapped in plastic and placed in the shallow grave shortly after time of death, it could take over 30 days to begin to see skeletonization. It's a very real possibility that the little girl starved to death, locked in a closet by her mother and left to waste away in filth. The reason for the stains on the
Holy
closet walls
crap.
would remain a mystery, though, without a determined cause of death. In September 2022, Brianna pled guilty to second-degree murder. Though her attorney repeatedly requested she face a reduced sentence due to her exemplary military record, she was sentenced to life in prison. Though her incarceration will do nothing to bring her daughter back, at least justice for the innocent little girl was served.
Oh my God, what an awful mom. Holy crap. Death by starvation and potential abuse is not the way to go. Oh my God. But good. Justice for Taylor, because Brianna's a little fucking piece of shit. What kind of, oh my God, horrible mom. Her attempt to OD to try to get out of the situation sets a whole different fire under my skin. I'm glad she didn't get the easy way out. Yes. Her attorney wanted a reduced sentence for her military service. She stood watch. She served by walking around base aimlessly. She killed her child. I don't give a fuck about her service. Yeah, true. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, sorry about that. Yes. Oh, wow. The fact that she got dressed in her military outfit before the police got there to respond says a lot. If you woke up and your kid was gone, would you put on your work uniform before the police got there? It's a form of manipulation. That's true. That's true. Ooh. The cops halting the garbage truck and seizing all the garbage before it got to the landfill. Yeah. And searching through it. I would hate to have that job. I know it would be very important, but I would hate to have that. Think about how bad that apartment must have been for a sniffer dog to be like, I can't work in these conditions. That's so true. I mean, they go through so much. They go through so much. They smell so much. That apartment must have smelled foul. It must have smelled horrific. It must have smelled like, I don't know. I mean, to be fair, there could have potentially been a dead body there. So children in your home can't steal food. That food belongs to them. Period. Yes. Let me give you a like, cause yes, my jaw dropped to the floor when they found the thank you card from Taylor to her mom in the trash. Yeah, that hits different, man. It hits different. She never deserved such a precious angel who could make a card like that. Completely unthinkable. I can't even throw away scraps of paper my 4-year-old made. One mark on let alone a personally addressed thank you card after they went missing. True, the fact that she threw it away, disgusting. She wrote a letter to the judge asking for a shorter sentence because she plans on opening a trucking business and a tailoring clothing line. She uses the excuse that Taylor's dad never gave her child support, so it was hard for her. She says she's sorry for lying to the police, and not once does she ever say she is sorry for murdering her daughter. This is the kind of person she is, evil and selfish. Wow, that's insane. Oh my god, dude, what the fuck? I'm on leave. I don't know my schedule. She says, well, you're wearing a uniform. Right. Serious. I mean, yeah, because you're not a shitty person like these people. When parents doing shit like that to kids, yeah. Cause it takes a different type of person to be like this, to do this. No kid deserves to be treated like that. Yeah, honestly. Her donating her baby's clothes while the cops find key evidence to lock her away on Veterans Day has to be some form of divine justice. It was Veterans Day when they locked her up? I mean, yeah, you don't deserve that uniform, girl. Something tells me she only wanted to call the police to report her daughter missing, yet didn't expect the police to do a full-on investigation on her. Uh, what did she expect? Like, what did she expect? My blood boiling. That sweet, poor little baby left alone, abandoned, starved, unwanted, and killed by her own sick mother. Oh my god, yeah. What a terror. Yeah. Told me everything. Yeah, I mean, some people don't deserve to be parents. No, for real. Like yesterday, we were watching that case of that lady where that lady had her teenager help beat that girl that she didn't like. Oh my god, take your kid away from you. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Some people shouldn't procreate, like, in general. Like, just don't. I don't know how. I don't know. If you're not fit to have a parent, just don't have kids, man. Just don't have kids. Like, that's insane. Confession. What is this? I'm telling you, Explore With Us has some of the craziest cases I'd ever seen. I don't even want to see any more little kid cases. This makes me feel all type of way. My heart hurts, man. It hurts. These poor ass kids. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I go live every single day. I really appreciate you. I hope you had fun hanging out with me and watching some of this shit with me. Anyway, really appreciate you. Thank you. Be safe. And that's all. Okay, bye.